It's free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. That's the phone number to call to bring up whatever is on your mind. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Free, we'll talk it live. It's Riley O'Bill.
And Angelo.
And tonight we have multiple different things to talk about. I feel like the Christmas season is always this weird... They try to slide things in. It's not like a packed, like, oh, non-stop news time of the year.
Yeah, well, someone once told me, or I heard it somewhere, that December and June are the months when radio shows and things like that don't do ratings. And so they always try and sneak stuff in.
Why do they not do ratings?
I don't know why they don't do ratings.
Well, because everybody's with their families. They're not watching their usual. They're doing like Christmas stuff.
But what about June?
The school's out. We're doing summer. Summer just started.
What do you mean by do ratings? To be
I'm
clear?
guessing...
Like they don't make good ratings is what you're saying?
I'm guessing that rating companies who rate shows like ours or radio shows or TV shows or whatever don't actually check on ratings or...
Oh, they don't aggregate because it's so low it would just throw off the rest of the...
That doesn't really... the school thing still doesn't make sense to me because it's not like there's like an old man driving to work every day and he's like, well, I'm not going to listen to the radio today because I don't have my kids at school. See what I'm saying?
This was several years ago I've heard this, so things could have changed and maybe I got the information wrong, so... But it seems like December...
Since you don't take a work break, you know?
Yeah, December and June seem like months that... You know, most people would take time off or, you know, school's out for the summer and everyone's getting ready to go on vacation, things like that, and it causes some different ratings. I don't know.
Vacations, that's a good point.
I don't know, man.
I guess just like summer starting is like a kickoff point.
That being said, June of this year was like, oh my god, crazy news left and right. We had so much to talk about, if you remember, like PorcFest.
Oh, yeah, we had the attempted bombing of Iran. We've had all
and the Minnesota bombing of a politician.
Yeah, that took place too.
Yeah, it seemed like we're going to go
the murder of that Democrat politician.
Yeah, there were all kinds of things popping up in my head now because there was like a bunch to talk about and everything seemed like really crazy at that time. It just kind of calmed down because it just feels like that's Trump's something about his strategy is, well, we already know for a fact, like I'm pretty sure him or somebody involved with him came out and straight up said, just keep shock and awe, kind of like just continuously hit them with new things you're doing until they can't pay attention to everything. That's obviously a thing that Trump is doing.
It certainly seems that way because it would make sense. Like if you keep everyone so busy that they don't know what's hitting them, then you can sneak little stuff in, like, you know, gun control or whatever.
Yep, I completely agree. So, but that being said, I feel like December... I don't know if I have some kind of opinion on what June always is. Just it was brought up. My computer is being weird. But anyways, December, it feels like something always happens, but you don't always hear that much. You know what I mean? Like it's like kind of quiet.
Yeah.
Then again, Trump literally said this is war about Venezuela. Did you guys see that?
Oh yeah.
No.
Did Ian send me that? I gotta pull that back up or figure out where I saw that. But somebody had said, what if children die, or innocent people maybe, not children, die on one of your like bombs of the boats in the Venezuelan, like apparently drug trafficking boats is what Trump is calling them. And he said, listen, this is war and it's going to go to the ground soon.
Oh yeah, I think we talked about this last week.
We did?
Yeah, we were talking about like it seems like we're going to war with Venezuela.
We thought like it seems like it's going to go become war, and that he said like, closing down the air,
space and land strikes to follow. I figured that.
But this is different. He literally said this is war for the first time.
No, I didn't hear that.
So he's more out in the open about this being war. Interesting. I guess he likes his war. I thought he was the peace president.
Right. It's so weird because his first term he was the most peaceful president compared to all the ones in recent years.
Yeah, Biden, Obama. Well, I don't know if I'd count Biden, but Obama definitely, Bush definitely. So the presidents of my lifetime, my major lifetime anyway.
Oh, you mean most of your life?
Yeah, most of my life. I'm still recovering from Social Sunday.
Oh, it's fine.
Food coma, maybe.
I was just, I don't know, clarifying. So I found an article about it because I just think that is a really important, big thing to bring up. It's like Trump always does these little slips that I think are important to bring up. Way more important than like, oh, is he really going to buy Greenland in Canada? You know, I forgot the whole time I was in Alabama on the beach, I forgot that I was in the Gulf of America. We literally said the Gulf of Mexico multiple times, like, and I didn't even think about it until we were leaving. I was like, oh yeah. And my grandma was like, oh yeah, I know. And she's like a Republican Alabama lady who voted for Trump, like every time. But she was like, oh yeah, I'm never gonna call it Gulf of America. It's just the Gulf of Mexico to me. So that's how I feel like most people feel.
I think so too. I think people just don't care about Trump's antics.
But
mostly.
I will say that every once in a while he does things that are way more important to pay attention to. Like earlier in the year, I actually just told Ian about this because I covered it on the show, but I didn't have a chance to talk to Ian about it or think to tell him about it any of the times like he calls or something. But early in the year, Trump said, oh yeah, well, the United States has weapons that most people, it would blow their minds. We wouldn't even know how they work. Like weapons beyond most people's imagination. Maybe you guys were on with me when we discussed it.
I don't recall that, but it sounds like something Trump would say, and it's most likely true.
Yep. I want to get that exact quote, but I think it's also important to pay attention to the fact he literally just said this is war about Venezuela. Like,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that there wasn't a declaration of war by Congress.
Well, if you look at Trump's numbers between 2024 and 2016, if you look at like the numbers of, it might have been 2020 numbers, but if you look at his fundraising numbers, back prior to the previous election, 2024, most of his donations, 60% of his donations were small dollar donations from individuals, which is like pretty grassroots, right? Like 60% of your funding comes from like grassroots effort.
Mm-hmm.
Flip that to the 2024 run. Now 60% of his funding came from millionaire donors, like Madelson and whatnot, tech bro millionaires, people like that. So if you like, his fundraising totally flipped. He's bought out, is what I'm trying to allude to. You know what I'm saying?
So it sounds like you're saying that Trump has been bought out by somebody else.
Oh yeah. He just the
so he's no longer his own man?
Con Inc. got a hold of him in 2024. It
wouldn't surprise me. I mean, people love to think that their favorite person, especially Trump, he's his own man. He's going to do his own thing. No, he's been bought out already.
Yeah, he was. If it wasn't before this election proved it, and you can just do that through. You can look at the fundraising. You can see who gave him money to win.
Yes, and the assassination attempt was definitely a show of strength from somebody to say, "Hey, we can take you out at any time if you don't kiss the ring, if you will."
You know something crazy about Donald Trump's great uncle was an MIT uncle. It was either his grandpa's brother or his dad's brother. One of those two people managed, when Nikola Tesla died, he's the guy that took all of Nikola Tesla's files.
Oh,
yep.
Interesting.
And was the guy who managed all that. And yeah, I guess he was like an MIT.
The stuff that we don't get to see.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And then there was a stagnation with physics in the 70s, right? And like string theory and all that kind of like slowed down. We haven't made any breakthroughs really since the 70s in physics, and I think that's just a lie, and they just took it all underground.
I was just telling Ian about this on the phone because I was listening to this guy. The thing is, I have loved to read about stuff that always happens, that things I like to read about end up being like, oh, these people are writing in like the 60s and 70s, and I always see those like boomers writing about, or older generation before them who are like older people in that time period writing about like, oh, nukes, and I referenced that last week. Something like The Secret Life of Plants, an amazing book that I read. It goes over every single chapter as a new like, oh, and this person was a scientist. Here's all the stuff he did and discovered, and it's usually considered too woo to be real, the Secret Life of Plants, but it's literally all facts. It's not, I mean, not too woo to be real, but like, oh, don't pay any attention to that. Like if you go to the Wikipedia, it'll be like criticisms,
Yeah.
But what I've noticed my whole life is like, it seems like there's people just like, whoa, we just discovered this, we just discovered that, and this is just gonna change everything about physics, and then it just like kind of stopped. And I remember when Obama was taking office, it's so random, but when Obama was taking office, he was like, we America, we're gonna have scientists being sent to college and raised up to make another like great era of scientific discoveries, and it's going to happen in America. And for whatever reason, I wasn't like a pro Obama. I was very sad he won in 2008 as a child, but I felt like moved by that. I was like, wouldn't that be cool if I grow up be a scientist and like me and other people are like, oh, discovering new things like back then. But anyways, it is true. It just went up to like the 70s, like the late 1800s to 70s, it just kind of stopped, right? And there is actually like somebody out there saying, oh, well, they don't know. That it's just that the thing is, their explanation, and I'm going to explain it totally wrong, is that, well, we got to a certain place where we know a lot of the basics, and now it's like the next type of discovery is more difficult to make because it's like chipping off more things, or it's like we're having to chip down on things that are like, oh yeah, this is a discovery, but it's not going to make headline news. It's just like really, we're having to go into more topics like spread out, and it's not just like somebody discovered E equals MC squared, like something big like that anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why it seems like it's shut down. But I am on your side. Like Angela, I totally agree that I think that America was just like, oh, well, now that we have all this, let's use our black budget to, fund looking into, obviously we know they were looking into like remote viewing and stuff that seems so woo-woo, and then all of a sudden we just stopped hearing about it. But I don't believe for a second they just stopped doing it, or that they haven't been like going further in realms of science that would seem unimaginable to us. And here's that quote by Trump, by the way. He said, "We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world that we have." He was saying that like trying to intimidate China. What if it's a type of like using a type of science and discoveries that like humans have no idea is possible? Teleportation.
That's entirely possible.
They tried to teleport that ship. Do you remember what it was called?
The Philadelphia experiment. I've heard about it.
It was the USS. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know why Philadelphia sounded right.
No, it is. I think it is the Philadelphia experiment, but there's like it's like a word that almost sounds like another word, like sinister,
Oh, interesting.
but it's not sinister.
With the name of the ship, you mean?
Yeah.
The USS. Why do I want to say Eldridge? Yes,
Yes,
the
Eldridge,
USS
yeah.
Eldridge.
Yeah. Well, Eldritch is the word I was
It's called a
thinking of.
destroyer escort, the USS Eldridge. So maybe that's what you're thinking of. But
Well, no, I was thinking of Eldritch, like an Eldritch horror. Like
never heard of it.
Well, like Eldritch is like, dude, who's almost like a Lovecraftian creature. You know what I mean? Like a horror beyond human comprehension. But that's not the name of the ship.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of that word sounded like
I've never
Eldridge.
heard of the first thing you said. So interesting. Maybe that's green language. But they literally, if people don't know, the Philadelphia experiment is a real thing. And in October 28, 1943, the U.S. government with the Navy, I'm sure more than just the Navy were involved, tried to at least make invisible the USS Eldridge, which was a destroyer escort.
Yeah, and they tried to use the idea is to use a bunch of electromagnetic fields around the ship to
like,
bend
distort
the light around the ship so you couldn't see it like on the water.
And it did like disappear to the people that were there witnessing it, and the people that were on board. There are claims, but I don't know if they're true, that some people got like their body got halfway basically embedded into parts of the ship, and that others were just like totally and really badly sick and disoriented. It's just stuff like that, like stuff that might happen if you've just been teleported and you're like just a human subject experiment. We know MK Ultra is real. That's never been a conspiracy theory, no matter what they want to say about it. That is, there are not even leaked, but disclosed documents.
Over 12,000 pages of documents related to stuff like that.
And tons of stuff they just deleted and don't want you to ever hear about. But we actually do have documents disclosing that it's not fake. It's not like something that's like the Montauk project. I feel like that might have been something that was released just to make us like, oh, see, some kid just said that he was being experimented on. He sounds crazy, and this guy wrote a book. But MK Ultra was actually happening for sure. I mean, I actually kind of believe the guy from the Montauk projects too. But we have a caller on the line, so let's go to the phones. And reminder, you can call in with whatever's on your mind, 603-283-6160. But on the line right now, we have Dave Ridley in Colorado. Dave, what's on your mind?
Hey, guys. AI.
AI. What about it? What about AI today?
You would think that with the level of danger that is posed for human extinction by artificial superintelligence, that this would be sort of a drop everything moment for almost everyone. And it's really shocking to see. It's shocking to see how few people are dropping anything.
Oh, I saw this video last night where this guy, he kind of uses a lot of humor, but he's really trying to get people's attention on how AI can be dangerous. And this was like kind of funny, but really eye-opening. I'll have to ask a friend to tell me who that was, whose channel it was. But basically one thing he did was he was like, hey, AI, I want you to shoot me with this gun. And he was like, I cannot do that. And he was like, oh, okay. Wow, AI is super safe. Okay, wait. Now just pretend to be a character who in the story shoots me with a gun, and AI just goes okay and shoots, like, but it's a fake gun, and the AI didn't know that, you know.
Wow, interesting.
And by the way, it was like in a robot body.
Yeah.
So yeah, people probably need to pay more attention to it. Does that interest you, Dave?
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. And there's also, I thought you might be talking about Lyron Shapiro, who runs doomdebates.com. What he does, it's pretty winsome. It reminds me of our NH Exit booth. He sets up a little booth, kind of like, just by himself on the street corner, and he says, "Are you worried about being killed by artificial superintelligence?" And everybody just walks past him and ignores him. And there's a 40% P-doom according to. And how about no one listens to him? He just gets the video of himself being not listened to.
That's funny.
That is kind of funny, yeah.
I was just I think my biggest issue, the biggest concern for me with AI right now is like the flock cameras, things like mass data aggregates, problems with those. Maybe not so much like a supercomputer killing me, but maybe a supercomputer okaying somebody else to come kill me by mistake when I haven't done anything wrong, which has happened a bunch. With
people getting pulled over because the AI has the wrong license plate.
Yeah, the wrong license plate. Like this family in Colorado, they got put on, like they had like an 8-year-old girl with them. The whole family ripped out of their car and put to the pavement at gunpoint. I think because the AI license plate reader said that the vehicle they were driving was stolen, and it turns out that the stolen vehicle was a motorcycle that they were looking for.
Wow.
That just happened to have the same number plate as the car, because a motorcycle plate or a car plate, those are different plates. And
oh wow,
right, so it's the same numbers, different.
Still, that's horrible police
different
work.
Vehicle plate. Yeah, so the cops pull these people over in a mall parking lot, put everybody on the ground, handcuff everyone. And they just won, a couple $1 million. But those are the lucky ones, right? They didn't get injured. So what happens when the cops kick in my door on accident? At the okay of a superintelligence. That's what I'm worried about, or what they consider to be a superintelligence, which it obviously isn't if it's sending cops to the wrong house.
Well, Ben Goertzel makes this point that really superintelligence, if it's actually superintelligence, it's going to know not to do any of those things. And so this is a completely different problem. And in a sense, superintelligence would solve all those problems. But the really big problem is that they can't figure out what's going on under the hood with the strongest AIs that they're building. And these AIs are the ones that will gradually evolve into or develop superintelligence. And there's something going on inside or at the core of the intelligence that seems to be going bad a lot, and you can't really see it, obviously. And the developers don't understand what they're building. They're actually growing something.
What do you mean by growing something?
it's more of an organic process than a building process. When you build a house, you understand the pieces that are going into place and the principles behind it. But this AI stuff currently is getting to the point where it's just kind of happening. There's emergent behavior. There's I don't know how to put it any more succinctly.
You won't know what you might end up with, even if you think you're building what you're imagining you're building.
That is happening a lot. That doesn't mean it's automatically going to happen. You could focus on that problem instead of focusing on beating China or focusing on beating your competitor, right?
Yep, just race to the bottom. Well, race to the top, quote unquote, but trying to make AI as fast as possible and not being safe about it.
Yeah, and what's so frustrating in talking about this with sort of the limited powers that I have is two things. First of all, I mean, how would you feel if somebody were if somebody just walked? How you feel when people walk up to you and you say, "Well, I think we should reduce the Grafton, New Hampshire budget by 10%," and someone walks up to you and says, "But bears," because they've been so brainwashed and they haven't thought this through, and they don't know that you don't need the huge budget to stop all the bears, right? So it's like if I worry that the AI researchers, when they listen to someone like me talking, we thought of that 10 years ago and that's not going to work, and this other solution we thought of that 10 years ago and that's not going to work. I worry that people like me, these lay people like me who are getting involved in the issue, we're so far behind on the science that we're missing a lot of things.
Yep, I know what you mean. Whenever you have a conversation and somebody's like, "Well, what about this?" and you're like, "Yeah, people have been discussing that problem for years."
Or Rhodes when it comes to libertarianism.
Yep, who built the roads? Well, the guy I was talking about, he's Inside AI on YouTube, and he talks about the dangers. But thank you for the call, Dave. If you'd like to stay on, let me know during the break. I can pick up the phone and ask you if you'd like to have more to say. 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up. Don't go anywhere. It's Free Talk Live.
You can't win if you don't enter, and you actually can improve your chances of winning a prize drawing if you wrinkle up your entry blank. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com, and I speak from experience. Why this works: if they'll be spinning the drum before drawing, your entry blank will move around more than, and not adhere to, other perfectly flat entry blanks. And if they don't spin the drum and merely reach into a box full of other perfectly flat entry blanks, many of which are sticking together, yours will feel different to the person reaching in. When you win, act surprised. And if you're looking for work, this is a metaphor. For more tips on sticking out in a world where just too much blends into the blah, 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 hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper with the Week in Review. US strikes on suspected drug boats remained a major focus in Washington this week. The White House confirmed that the US carried out a second strike on a boat in the Caribbean Sea in September as 2 injured people clung to the wreckage. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth authorized the second strike, which critics now say could amount to a war crime. Ever since Tony Waterman was monitoring developments in Washington.
Press Secretary Leavitt said Pete Hegseth authorized the commander of the operation, Admiral Frank Bradley, to carry out the strikes, defending it as a matter of national security.
Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated.
Democrat and Republican lawmakers have vowed to launch investigations into what could be a potential war crime. It's illegal to intentionally kill wounded, sick, or shipwrecked people who are not fighting back. President Trump has said he still has confidence in Hegseth, but wouldn't have ordered a second strike.
The Ukraine peace plan was discussed around the world this week, in Moscow, where US envoy Steve Witkoff met Russian President Vladimir Putin, then in Miami, where a Ukrainian delegation met with Witkoff, and in New Delhi, where President Putin met India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The leaders' summit came amid Western pressure on India to reduce its trade with Moscow and use its influence to get Putin to end the war in Ukraine. FSN's Ishan Garg sent this report from New Delhi.
Now, from India's perspective, what it could do potentially to woo the United States on the other side, and that's something the European capitals have also been asking New Delhi as well, is to ask President Vladimir Putin to put an end to the war in Ukraine. European envoys have privately told the Indian government that Prime Minister Modi has President Putin's ear, and therefore he should use this influence to ensure that President Putin comes to the table, signs a peace deal, and puts an end to the Ukraine war.
This week, the FBI said it arrested a man suspected of planting pipe bombs outside the Republican and Democratic Party headquarters in Washington, D.C., following a years-long inquiry. The devices were left on January the 5th, 2021, the day before Donald Trump's supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol. The week ended with a mixture of sport and politics as US President Donald Trump was awarded the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize. It came at the draw to find out which countries will play each other at next summer's Football World Cup. The draw was held in Washington, D.C., with the event next year being hosted by the US, Canada and Mexico. From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN.
You can stick it to the man and big tech. Join our FTL social mastodon at social.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160 is the phone number. I'd like to thank Scott for being an amplifier with us here at Free Talk Live. That means that Scott went to amps.freetalklive.com and signed up to support the show. AMPS stands for Advertise, Market, Promote, and Support. Thanks to Scott and everyone who supports us. Again, that's amps.freetalklive.com if you'd like to check out the perks and benefits of becoming an amplifier. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie,
Riley O'Bill,
And Angelo.
and in the last segment, man, we really were just like talking about a whole bunch of different things. We had a caller, Dave Ridley, and you can hear more of Dave Ridley at ridleyreport.com. He's been an awesome activist. I actually interviewed him just about basically his entire life of activism, and it's on all the streams where we have Free Talk Live, and it should be Bonnie's Activist Archives.
Bonnie's Activist Archives.
Yes, it's my only episode I ever did because I wanted to do something else. We could never plan to get together. I just wanted to make sure that people, at least in New Hampshire, that are young and just moving here, they need to know more of the history that Ian just has in his head, you know? And other people just have in their head. Like, Ian didn't know everything that Dave told me, you know?
It's really nice to have these activist archives out there, and I think you should do more of them because, I've heard a lot of the history from listening to Free Talk Live, but most people haven't heard the history.
Maybe off the air you could suggest some people to me, and I could try to focus on that in the next, coming months, but...
Okay.
603-283-6160 is the phone number. If you'd like to bring up whatever is on your mind, you can change the subject, you can tell us we're wrong, it doesn't matter. That's the point of Free Talk Live. And one thing I want to talk about, we already kind of brought this up, so I want to make sure I get exactly what he said out. This is from Wednesday, December 3rd, and it's from theindependent.com. Trump says this is war as he continues to ramp up threats and attacks on Venezuela. Dozens of strikes against alleged drug-carrying boats in the Caribbean and Pacific Ocean have killed more than 80 people since September. Whoa, that's bad. I didn't know that.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of blowback.
Oh, yeah.
Since September? It said 80 people since September?
Yep. So... says Donald Trump insisted that the U.S. was at war, and that's war is in quotations, with a list of drug cartels in Venezuela as a military buildup in the Caribbean continues amid the president's threats of further strikes. The president made the comment on Wednesday afternoon at the White House during a press availability. I've never heard of a press availability. While claiming there was a popular support for his decision to use military assets instead of law enforcement capabilities to fight drug trafficking efforts in the Caribbean, Central America, and South America. So he's claiming that there's a lot of support for us to go to war with South America. That's insane to me.
Like in the country?
He just has a lot of support.
Maybe a bunch of like
Or they just said that.
boomer moms who are like
Or maybe a sycophant.
war on
surrounding him.
drug.
Maybe just the people around him, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the quote. He says, "I think you're going to find that this is war. That these people were killing our people by millions," the president claimed. "I think you're going to find that there's a very receptive ear to doing exactly what we're doing, taking out those boats." He went on to declare, "And very soon we're going to start doing it on land too, because we know every route, we know every house where they manufacture this crap. We know where they put it all together, and I think you're going to see it very soon and on land also." That's it. That's the quote. I just gotta say, legalizing drugs in the United States would do so much more to end, quote unquote, this crap. People dying of fentanyl.
I completely agree. Treating people like criminals isn't the way forward. If we legalize it, we'll be able to create a different sort of market where people can get it legally. Now, I realize the people who are anti-drugs are going to hear something like, no, this is a terrible idea. We can't legalize drugs because then people won't want to take them.
Some people might have bad consequences from their own actions. We should be allowed to separate from those people.
Yes,
we shouldn't be forced to support them. Oh, there's all these drug addicts in the street. We should not be forced to support them. Let them like literally die if they want to do something that's going to ultimately kill themselves instead of standing in line, getting some food every day, going back and doing drugs.
If you want to say we have no compassion, then fine. Say we have no compassion. The reality is people make dumb choices, and we cannot and should not save them from their dumb choices.
And the other thing is I have more compassion than the people who want to go to war with Venezuela as opposed to legalizing drugs in the United States, because far more people are going to die, and far more innocent people are going to die if we go to war in Venezuela, including Americans. I think that's what people are insane if they don't understand. I think that Trump and Vivek realized once they were saying during the election, they were like, we're going to go to war with the cartels. We're going to carpet bomb the cartels in Mexico. Enough people were like, are you insane? Like that was probably like a test. People were like, are you insane? Like there would instantly be like bombings in America and stuff like that. Like the cartels are here and it's way too close to us. So they're like, we'll just do Venezuela, and plus we want oil. I think because Venezuela has a lot of oil.
They do have a lot of oil, and maybe that's why Trump's going after them, but he's not going to tell anybody that.
Yeah, because it just seems like it's an excuse.
I heard a crazy 5D chess. This is a silly conspiracy theory. I don't agree with it, but I heard somebody make the case that Trump is going after the deep state funding by cutting off the drug trade, or at least that's what he's trying to do.
Okay.
Ending deep state funding by cutting off
like the CIA moving drugs everywhere all over the country to make money for their stuff. Mm-hmm. Trump's like, screw it, I'll just go straight to the source, and that's what we'll do. Wow. And I'm just trying, if I can end it there,
DEA and stuff.
He's not using the
I mean, as far as
the 3-letter agencies to do it. He's gone out of
that quote. Is that what you already understood?
Yeah, he's not using, or at least what I'm hearing is that he's not using law enforcement.
Yeah.
He's not using 3-letter agencies to do it.
More the military, it seems like.
Yeah. Which the military still has deep ties with like the intelligence agency, but maybe they're not as close as, the FBI or the DEA or the ATF.
The DEA has over and over again
looked the other way.
Has been involved absolutely in trafficking drugs.
Oh, really?
Caught multiple times.
Yeah, so that's somebody's theory of it, is that he can't beat them in America, so he's just going to go after how they make money, and that's with the drugs out of South America.
And I bet it would be I'm just saying, I'm going with this conspiracy theory. I'm not saying I believe it or something. But let's say that that's what Trump wanted to do, and he's not actually just doing horrible things. I would think that he was, first of all, misled, that would be a good thing to do. I think going to war is a horrible thing to do. But let's say it's what he thinks is the right thing to do to end like black budget CIA crap in America. Well, here's one thing that I would say. I think it would be maybe easier to do this than to legalize drugs. I just know that legalizing drugs would be the thing that would just end it faster, and better. I don't really think the war is going to do it. I don't think it's going to end CIA.
True. You know, most cartels make more money off kids than drugs these days.
Whoa, I didn't know that's gross.
Yeah, there's more money in human trafficking than there is in the drug trade. So
It
I mean,
doesn't surprise me.
yeah, I think that switch happened around 2014, 2015. New numbers came out, and that cartels made more money off trafficking people than they did with their drugs.
Gross. I put it on Twitter, but I was just telling Jacob about my little brother who's staying here. I was just telling him about Pizzagate and what that was, and about like the emails, like, oh, we need 10,000 hot dogs for the White House this weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
You talking about Wayfair?
No, not that specifically, no. But I was just telling him all that stuff, and just talking about, and that's why when you use dollars and when you pay taxes, it's going to these people and they're extremely evil. And he was like, so people work and pay taxes so they can buy pedophiles or buy children for pedophiles.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it. If you really want to boil it down, and if they're not pedophiles, there's some kind of abhorrent criminal, beyond just being a thief and a liar. They got dirt on everybody. I don't think they let you in unless you get compromised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pedophilia doesn't make sense to me. Like, how can anyone want to do that to a child? It's just gross.
Psychopathy, for one thing. Another thing is, like, I used to think, like, how weird that so many people in power just want to, or are pedophiles. But I really don't think that they are the type of person who's just born attracted to minors. Not all of them. I think a lot of them are, they do it because they know that's how you could move up.
Or it's like you do, or it's almost like what's that Black Mirror episode where they made the Prime Minister of England sleep with that pig on national television as like it's the same. It's the
blackmail.
Same. Yeah, it's blackmail. It's just blackmail. They get you to do horrendous stuff, and then now they have a video of it.
Yeah.
Maybe like Kissinger, and J. Edgar Hoover. They talked about doing gay blackmail a ton. In the back in the day, they would have these Republican, senators, and then they would just catch them doing gay stuff, and then they have dirt on everybody. Yeah, they did a lot of sextortion, is I guess would be the word for it. Is huge in these kind of industries.
Well, in the world where sex is shamed, you can definitely sextort people for a lot of money.
Yeah, but some kind of quote unquote sex should be shamed.
I agree with you. There definitely should become some sex that should be shamed.
Well, there's always going to be something taboo, regardless of where society heads. There's always going to be something culturally that everybody decides is wackadoodle. And then they'll just use that instead, right? You could change. Yeah. Something is always going to be on the outside of what is considered okay.
I think how are they able to even do it for power is literally psychopathy, and I think that it's like I feel I'm sitting there thinking about things and I come to a dead end when it's like I consider the fact that like our enemies are literally psychopaths. It's like even with like the Gypsy Rose stuff I'm always talking about recently. Maybe you don't know what I'm talking about. This woman, Gypsy Rose, killed her mom in 2015, but she actually groomed a basically actually retarded man to, and I mean that clinically. Maybe I shouldn't use that word. Let's say
slow boy.
Well, okay. Special needs guy with level 2 autism, never could take care of himself, couldn't have a job, was on SSI disability, and had a 75 IQ. I accidentally said 85 when Gerhard was here. It was 75 IQ.
Oh, so he's literally clinically retarded.
Yes, that's what I meant exactly. So Gypsy Rose groomed this guy over 2 years to kill his mom or her mom, and he didn't want to. He was like begging her to like just run away and like, well, can we try this? Can we try that? Anyways, it's like it's like sometimes I'm like, oh, I just want her to see what a disgusting, horrible person she. It doesn't matter. She never will because she's a psychopath.
They don't care.
She doesn't care. She won't see it as
sociopathy.
Like, what's right,
I think it might be more
wrong.
like sociopathy than psychopathy.
Either. Well, psychopathy is just.
Well, if sociopaths lack empathy, they literally do not care what they do to others.
Yeah, but like, isn't psychopathy similar in that they don't have like feelings at all?
I think they have. I think a psychopathy is more of like emotional regulation than the lack of, if that makes sense. Like psychopaths will like explode and like go off the wall. A sociopath will just methodically do it because it benefits them.
I don't know. I think we're all not exactly defining it exactly correctly, but there was the man who called Gypsy Rose's mom, saying, or not called her, but said that she likely had Munchausen by proxy. He's an expert in Munchausen by proxy, and he said even though he never looked at Gypsy's records, he just claimed from what he literally said, looking on the internet, he claimed that Gypsy's mom had Munchausen by proxy. I don't believe that, but anyways.
Well, maybe both of these things can be true at once.
I didn't finish saying that thing. So he said that. Well, he said that he also sees psychopathic tendencies in Gypsy Rose.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe both of these things can be true at once, right? That's also a possibility. Her mom could have been awful, but she could also be a psychopath.
There's not actually evidence that her mom was awful. That's the thing. That like people just take
it's
that
all
for
just
granted.
what she says.
She got a plea deal, and it's all just going off what she and her lawyers say. Her lawyer then became her manager and gets money off all the like Hulu and everything documentaries.
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah.
And he said
crazy.
if we would have went to court, I don't know how we would have defended her, and she could have got the death penalty.
Because she copped out. She copped the plea. That's crazy.
Well, like it was an amazing sweetheart plea because the public was like, this little girl when she was 24, because she talked like a little kid and like was in a wheelchair the week before, but actually could walk the whole time, and she was lying.
That's terrifying. That makes me think of, about do you guys remember the Slenderman murders where there's 2 12-year-old girls stabbed that other little girl in the woods?
Yes, someone just got out.
Yeah, she just got out, and then she cut her ankle monitor off and ran away. She's on the lam. There's a Slenderman psychopath killer on the loose.
Whoa.
I don't know if they've caught her, but she cut her ankle bracelet off and ran away with her
tranny girlfriend,
whatever the heck is going on, dude. Straight with extra steps. I don't know what it is anymore.
That's funny.
I don't know what it is anymore, dude.
I don't either.
But yeah, I guess that killer's on the lam. So watch out, Wisconsin.
Okay, is that where they are?
Yeah. I thought it was in Washington State for some reason, but it's in Wisconsin. So watch out, Wisconsin. You guys got a crazy out there.
It's gotta be another psychopath. And the thing about that I don't like is like the psychopaths in charge want to give us their minds because they are just like basically like a human with no heart. So I don't have to use the exact clinical definition. I don't feel like Googling it and stuff. They're like a human with everything we have, including the ability to plan, logic, intelligence, and to make things happen in the world. They just don't have the heart that we have. They don't have the like emotional capabilities that we have. So they want us to be like that. And that's why I think that they want to create AI, super intelligence. And I've been saying this for years. Like, I don't know why Ridley said that. I said I don't care about it earlier, or last year. I definitely don't think it's like, oh, the most important thing we need everybody to get. Like, people don't even get something so much more basic. People don't understand the non-aggression principle. Like, but I really think that the psychopaths in charge want AI and then for it to become actually super intelligent, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Sentient.
Yeah, sentient. Because what is an AI? It would be a thing that can like be put into a robot body, make movements with its body to create change in the world, and has an intelligence. Not yet, but it will. Possibly. I guess it might not too, but it could. But it won't have the human heart we have. It has no reason to. We developed that as an evolutionary mechanism.
I think that's what I was going to mention that to Dave when he was talking about why isn't everybody dropping everything on this? Because they don't care. It's going exactly to plan.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They don't want to. They don't. Well, the psychopaths know what they're doing, and they do not care.
And they
want people to do nothing about it.
And why do the average people not care? Because the psychopaths want us to have their mind, and that's a term that I make that up myself. Mark Passio always says that. He says that like the psychopaths in charge want to give us their mind. They want us to be like them, for us to become secondary psychopaths. Because there's primary psychopaths is somebody who's born that way, and you genuinely most likely don't know one. It's like 1% of human beings or less or something. And then a secondary psychopath is just
made. I was about to say you can make them. That's what
torture.
the MK Ultra was. That's what Marilyn Manson. Mm-hmm. Marilyn Manson was taken Not Marilyn Manson.
Charles
Manson.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
Marilyn
was
Manson.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But I knew what you meant.
Charles Manson. Oh man, I guess the rib thing always. Anyways, Charles
Yeah.
Manson was taken by the CIA and tortured. And once he got out, he turned around and he did the exact same things that happened to him to the Manson family and created a bunch of psychopaths to go out and do these murders. Right? So like you can like that. I think part of that, we kind of figured this stuff out with MK Ultra. So we just quit doing that and we just started putting images into children's minds. Like I think we're building psychopaths right now. I don't think we need AI to do it.
Like just like TV and stuff, like all these kids that watch like horror movies and Saw and stuff like that.
Like hyper violence. And I understand that even when I was a kid, I was like, oh mom, shut up. Like you don't know what you're talking about. I'm fine. But like thinking of like as a 5-year-old to be exposed to that kind of gore and to just normalize that right repetitively, you are just MK Ultra in yourself by sitting in a dark room with flashing pictures of intense violence over and over and over and over again from the age of 5.
Yeah.
I can see how that, now that I'm older, I
It's
get
also
it.
traumatizing, but you probably didn't.
But you don't
see
understand it
that way.
as traumatizing, right?
And
Yes.
a child could see that violence performed by a friend and be like, oh, this is normal. It's acceptable for a friend to be that violent.
Yeah, I saw this on TV, and now that I see this kid punching another kid, it's like, oh, well, at least they're not like, there's no blood.
Yeah.
Yep, I completely agree with that. When I was a kid, I noticed it in other kids, and it really freaked me out because I just wasn't that way. And I don't think it's just because I didn't watch scary movies, but I didn't because I didn't like them. But like one thing that always irritated me a lot is the way that other kids my age, they would say things about like not caring about human life. That sounds so ridiculous, like to just say out loud, but it's literally an absolute thing that would happen all the time. Like for one thing, just one example that always pops in my head. It irritated me so much of the time, and it was common. It wasn't like the first and only time I heard something like this, but I was like, this is what I can use for an example when I think about this thought, even when I was in like 7th grade. So I don't remember how the conversation got started, but some girl in my class who was like a perfectly normal, nice girl, literally, like have no problems with this girl or anything, even like into high school, she was just like nice and fine.
Yeah.
Well, she said one time, she was like, yes, absolutely, I would care more if a dog was even hurt than if like a human was dying. And it's something that is totally an idea that's been like given to us from
them
TV.
Yep.
And stuff. It's not that I don't care about dogs. I love dogs, and I would want to.
Well, that's what that's what I think about, like how people treat their animals these days, and it's just like compared to a human life, right? Like if I was walking down the street and I see an old lady about to get hit by a car or my dog, I'm gonna go save the old lady. Like it just is what it is. I have to save the human life.
Yes.
That's not instilled in us at all. Like, movies like John Wick. John Wick's a huge one. They killed his dog. He turns around and levels a criminal cartel. Kills hundreds of people over them killing his dog. Albeit it wasn't just a dog. There's a bunch of, emotional attachment to said dog. But it's kind of reinforcing that idea that, it's really selfish is what it is. My emotional attachment to this animal is worth more than the life of another human.
Well, if they were the one that killed my dog, then yeah, I'd kill them. If that makes sense.
Well, this guy who turned around and like
killed innocent
hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And then burned down like a couple garages.
I could see that. I could see that being
like
part
went on
of
a
it.
warpath.
I've never seen the movies, that's all.
Oh, but yeah, I'm just saying like things like that.
To me, the comment was less about like dog versus human, and it was more about like it was a thing I've heard so many times where people are like, I hate people.
Well, yeah, that's kind of I was getting into like.
Yeah.
Well, I also feel like that also comes from like dogs hurt me because that's what a dog does. Humans hurt me because even though they know better, so somehow that makes a human worse than a dog. So I shouldn't care about
experiences in general with
well,
humans.
yeah, like humans.
People are bad.
People
and they hear
hurt
people
me.
say that all the time to be like not funny but cool and different. Yeah.
I've also
what I mean?
heard
Yeah.
that.
I hate people.
I've also heard people say, "Oh, animals are so good. We don't deserve them." It's like this
that's so
degradation
true.
of human culture, of the human experience.
I think you guys are definitely onto something about it being like that is a tool. They're like that is a tool to get people to hate other people.
Yeah.
Another thing that my dad pointed out when I was a kid, he was like, I'm tired of these movies where the protagonist is non-human and then the humans are like, oh, this horrible bad human, like in Toy Story
or Avatar.
I hadn't seen that till I've never seen Avatar. I've only seen the newer one. Me and Ian watched that, but I know what you mean by.
You haven't seen the original James Cameron Avatar?
Nah, never was interested. It looked stupid.
When did the new one come out before Ian went in?
Yes, we watched it in the theater. It was so fun in the
The
theater.
Way of Water? Is that what it was called?
The water was so cool in the movie. And, like, it was such a beautiful movie, but it was stupid.
The whole thing is just human bad.
Yeah, exactly. But Toy Story is the one that my dad pointed out. He was like, I'm just tired of this crap. It's always like the protagonist or like some kind of little talking animals, and the bad guy is always a human. And in Toy Story, it's the same way. It's like Sid, the bad, evil, psychopathic kid, just hurts toys.
Yes.
And like the non-human thing, the toys are the good guys.
Yeah, they're sentient somehow.
And then we have the gender wars where, tropes of husbands being stupid in films, and then we have a gender war going on, of course. So it's just divide and conquer is what's happening.
I just watched National Lampoon's Christmas. Apparently everybody loves that movie, but honestly it annoyed me in a way.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't just they were making the dad look dumb, but it was like over the top annoying how dumb they were making the dad look, and the mom was like reasonable and normal and sensible. But
it's just radical
boring
feminism
'cause it was
retarding
annoying.
people to the point where they think, men are stupid, and a lot of modern women today will say, men are worthless, we need to get rid of them.
That makes me think of a Christmas movie that's the opposite of that, and it's not Die Hard. And Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Never
That's
seen
one
it.
of the. I'm making you watch it. I'm gonna make you watch it. It's so good.
No way. But I understand. 603-283-6160. Can you think of any other mind control tropes that... I mean, it's not a joke. It literally is mind control. The entertainment industry is, and if you think it's not, 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up. Don't go anywhere. It's Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live.
Most people think you have to seek out a God for finding meaning in life, but really meaning comes from your awareness that your next move will have a consequence to you, whether it's good or bad.
The meaning is created by the person having the experience.
It's inside
Experiencer.
Your awareness that your next move will have a consequence for your positive or negative view of the world. That's where all meaning comes from.
And I fully believe that it's your interpretation of your experiences, how you decide to act as a result of the circumstances that surround you, that will ultimately decide your fate here. As far as, will you have a pleasant experience or will it be a hellacious one? I believe that
I believe in heaven and hell, but I believe that they exist
right
every
now.
moment. Like, you
Right
get to
now.
choose heaven and hell, and the people that do bad things experience hell because doing bad things results in bad stuff.
But you can always choose otherwise. You can begin at any moment to start over
Sinners
again.
can be redeemed.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern at freetalklive.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. Chat.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper with the Week in Review. US strikes on suspected drug boats remained a major focus in Washington this week. The White House confirmed that the US carried out a second strike on a boat in the Caribbean Sea in September as 2 injured people clung to the wreckage. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth authorized the second strike, which critics now say could amount to a war crime. Ever since Tony Waterman was monitoring developments in Washington.
Press Secretary Leavitt said Pete Hegseth authorized the commander of the operation, Admiral Frank Bradley, to carry out the strikes, defending it as a matter of national security.
Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated.
Democrat and Republican lawmakers have vowed to launch investigations into what could be a potential war crime. It's illegal to intentionally kill wounded, sick, or shipwrecked people who are not fighting back. President Trump has said he still has confidence in Hegseth, but wouldn't have ordered a second strike.
The Ukraine peace plan was discussed around the world this week in Moscow, where US envoy Steve Witkoff met Russian President Vladimir Putin, then in Miami, where a Ukrainian delegation met with Witkoff, and in New Delhi, where President Putin met India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The leaders' summit came amid Western pressure on India to reduce its trade with Moscow and use its influence to get Putin to end the war in Ukraine. FSN's Zishan Garg sent this report from New Delhi.
Now, from India's perspective, what it could do potentially to woo the United States on the other side, and that's something the European capitals have also been asking New Delhi as well, is to ask President Vladimir Putin to put an end to the war in Ukraine. European envoys have privately told the Indian government that Prime Minister Modi has President Putin's ear, and therefore he should use this influence to ensure that President Putin comes to the table, signs a peace deal, and puts an end to the Ukraine war.
This week, the FBI said it arrested a man suspected of planting pipe bombs outside the Republican and Democratic Party headquarters in Washington, D.C., following a years-long inquiry. The devices were left on January the 5th, 2021, the day before Donald Trump's supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol. The week ended with a mixture of sport and politics as US President Donald Trump was awarded the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize. It came at the draw to find out which countries will play each other at next summer's Football World Cup. The draw was held in Washington, D.C., with the event next year being hosted by the US, Canada and Mexico. From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN. Leaders of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda this week signed a peace deal negotiated by the US, aimed at stabilizing a war-scarred region and attracting Western mining investment. It came as part of an expected minerals and infrastructure partnership between the DRC and the Trump administration. FSN's Kate Fisher sent this report from Washington.
The two African nations have been involved in one of the longest-running conflicts in the world. The so-called Washington Accord was signed in the newly named Donald J. Trump Institute for Peace in Washington.
This has become the 8th war that we've ended in less than 1 year. Such an exciting thing to do. This has been because we're talking about 30 years of fighting, 30 years, much more than 10 million lives.
But the ceremony is largely symbolic. The agreement was already signed over the summer and critics still see obstacles to its implementation, not least that the fighting between Congolese forces and Rwanda-backed M23 rebels continues to rage in eastern Congo. Kate Fisher, Washington.
The death toll from Hong Kong's worst fire in decades this week rose to 159. Around 30 people, though, are still missing. Ever since Laura Westbrook reports from Hong Kong.
Police haven't ruled out the death toll rising further as they continue their forensic testing. Meanwhile, mourners continued to stream to a small park near the site of the fire, placing flowers and handwritten notes as they paid tribute to the victims, the youngest of whom was a 1-year-old baby and the oldest 97. Authorities earlier said the fire on the estate, which was undergoing major renovations, was likely made worse by the use of netting that did not meet fire-resistant standards. Officials are also monitoring for any unrest linked to the incident.
And that's the Week in Review. That's Feature Story News. Nick Harper reporting.
The total loser's corpse contained no traces of drugs or alcohol, and a superstitious Delta Airlines adds busty mermaids to its plane noses. My friend, you look like you are in need of the world's finest internet news summaries. Please come in and warm yourself by the fire of knowledge. This is the Onion Week in Review. A new law passed in Colorado this week will allow residents with a doctor's prescription to purchase medicinal fireworks, saying that those in need of stargazers, firecrackers, and Galleria highlights now need only obtain a doctor's doctor's prescription, state officials expressed hope that the law would ease the suffering of those in need of huge, dazzling explosions. And in this week's op-ed pages, a man notes that, like it or not, we all die, then get dug up and molested. In other news, white male privilege is squandered on a job at Best Buy, and a local TCBY has missed the past 2 logo changes. Well, that's it for now. Goodbyes are bittersweet, my love, so I'll only tell you, for more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Don't miss a moment of Free Talk Live. Get our archives daily via our podcast at feeds.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. Free Talk Live is brought to you by LibertyMinded.com. Official Free Talk Live gear like t-shirts and hoodies, like that Riley is wearing, are available at LibertyMinded.com. Plus, you'll find a unique collection of cool and funny Liberty-oriented clothing at LibertyMinded.com. That's LibertyMinded.com. And with you on this Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th, Free Talk Live edition, you've got me, Bonnie.
Riley O'Bill.
And Angelo.
That's right.
Shout out False Flags.
Yeah. 84 years ago today, Pearl Harbor happened.
Yeah, my dad called my sister and said, hey, I'm confused because the show I thought was live, but it says December 6th, and yeah, I just forgot to change the title and the date on the stream, my bad, but that's why I felt like mentioning it. Today's December 7th.
Yes. And, you know, it's always important to remember that war is terrible, especially if it's not a defensive war.
And it's always important to remember that the U.S. knew Pearl Harbor was...
Yeah. It's always important to remember that FDR knew well ahead that the Japanese were going to do what they do, and that's why we moved all our U.S. carriers, all the aircraft carriers, from Hawaii to San Diego randomly for no reason a week before it happened.
He let the attack happen.
I'm not surprised.
Well, the whole reason they attacked Hawaii was because they thought the U.S. carrier group was there, and that's why they hit Pearl Harbor. They thought they were going to take out the U.S. ability to launch aircraft, from ships. Mm-hmm. And but like 5 out of the 6 of them were in San Diego at the time, and that was the only reason we were able to turn around the way that we did, to go back into the Pacific.
They probably wasted a lot of their manpower on that, but literally that means FDR sacrificed human beings.
Well, no, yeah, he sacrificed those U.S. troops, but that was also to pull us into the conflict.
Yes. So people be like, oh my God, they hit America. We need
So now we have to go to war with Germany.
Yep.
Because
what's
Germany...
Trump going to let happen, so we have to go to war with Venezuela?
Well, I think 2 U.S. National Guard troops getting shot in D.C.
Old news already. I don't think people care. That was like
well, I think they should. The guy was a tier 1 operator for the Afghani. He was a special operations soldier for the Afghani forces.
I heard that he first worked with the CIA when he was 15.
Yeah, he probably did. I bet the CIA was recruiting teenagers like crazy out there.
Yeah.
Because the old heads were already radicalized. So what do? You go after the kids.
Yeah, really, really creepy and, groom-y type stuff from the U.S. government there. CIA going after 15-year-olds and getting them to work with them, and then, scrambling their brains so they shoot somebody in the United States when they're in their 50s or whatever.
Or make you the president of Syria after arresting you for 7 years. You don't know about this?
Oh, no.
The new president of Syria was a leader of Al-Qaeda.
Oh, wow.
Really?
And he was just at the White House.
Huh.
Whoa. No,
shaking hands with people. Yeah.
How long ago was this?
When they made this guy the president, like a couple weeks ago.
What is he like? Like, is he pro-Israel?
He's pro-West. But he was embedded within like Al-Qaeda at like 19.
What the heck?
And then he was arrested and then released and then went back with Al-Nusra. So he was the Al-Qaeda. Al-Nusra is the Al-Qaeda wing in Syria during the Syrian civil war, right? Because it was like 4 or 5 factions, like ISIS, al-Nusra, the Kurds. Like there's a whole bunch of different groups of people fighting. Oh, he was connected to al-Nusra, and then they made him the president. So like, I guess there's the gamble: you either get your brain scrambled in DC, or you get to become the president of a Middle Eastern power.
Probably just completely controlled the whole time.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah.
It's not like you just like, oh, you get all this power and fame. That's what they tell you. It's like when the devil had Jesus up on top of those buildings. Oh, you can have all of this. Do you think
I don't know if he was on top of the buildings.
I thought they were on a mountain.
Yes, they were on the mountain. And he was showing, Lucifer was showing Jesus all the kingdoms of the world. And all he had to do was bow and say, I will worship you, and all the kingdoms will be his.
Oh, I guess I thought it was a building because he was showing him kingdoms.
But there was a building in that story, because the story is that, Jesus, if he just cast himself off the building, the angels
would catch him. And he said you don't test God or whatever.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I mixed those two things together.
The first one was turning stones into bread.
Yeah, I mixed those things together apparently.
No worries.
But it seems like, yeah, that's what the U.S. government, when they come to you and ask you to work with them, is going to tell you, like, you can have, all this can be yours. And then it's like, you're a president of Syria, but also you're a traumatized mind control slave, and you don't get to make any president decisions yourself or whatever. Just doing whatever puppet stuff they want you to do. You know what's really weird? I'm probably not going to get into a whole article about it, but I have to say, I was on the phone with Ian, and Ian asked me, so like 2 weeks ago, Ian asked me about if I had heard that Trump pardoned a drug-dealing Honduran president. Yeah. And David from San Francisco had already told us about that, and we Googled it. And at the time, I thought, it looks like he's just considering it. But I was wrong. I said that on the show. I was wrong. He did pardon the drug-dealing Honduran president.
Yep.
So Ian today told me that president was the one that allowed Zetas, Zona Economica something.
The Zetas.
The places where you can have a part of...
So the free economic zones?
Yeah, free economic zone. You can go and buy some land, and then you don't have to pay the crazy taxes everybody else has to pay. And like rich Americans and Westerners in general go and buy Honduran land, and they give everybody their jobs. All the Hondurans there that go and get jobs there love it. They're like it's a rising tide lifting all boats. And then the socialist comes along and becomes president, and I think it's a woman even, and she tells them, like, look at these white people profiting off of us, and we need to make this illegal. So they turned it around, and I'm not sure exactly where that stands right now, like if it's illegal again, or if it's like in limbo. But anyways, the president that got pardoned by Trump recently, he was pro-Zetas, and he made the Zetas allowed. I'm not saying that makes him a great person. I don't know.
Well, the Zetas are a cartel in Mexico, too.
I don't know if that's just a different word then. Like, is Zeta the name?
Yeah, the name Zetas is a
name.
Or maybe they're connected to those free economic zones somehow, because you can just manufacture drugs in places like that.
I don't think they'd be connected at all. This is just literally like Honduras, and maybe not only Honduras, but maybe Riley knows if it's not just Honduras. They made a place, or different places, like basically for sale in their continent, or not continent, country. And you would be able to pay them, probably pay the government of Honduras for it, and you would be able to like do certain things there, start certain kinds of businesses there. But they don't just like leave you completely alone. Like they'll come and actually inspect stuff on Mark, the co-host of the show. He owns part of a island called Utila in Honduras, and he talked about that openly on the show many times. He wants people to hear about it. And like the feds or whatever of Honduras sometimes come and inspect things. Like they don't just like let you drug deal on the island, or at least like become a cartel or something.
Dealing. It's ZED. It's ZEDE is the Honduras program.
It's a zone for employment and economic development in English.
Yeah. Also known as Prospera.
No, Prospera is just one specific one.
Oh, okay.
But is one.
What I was talking about were Los Zetas, and that's ZETAS.
It is.
And that's the Mexican cartel.
Okay.
You're right. It's ZEDE. It's Zona de Empleo, so employment, and Desarrollo, which is development economico. So it's the same thing. Zone of employment and economic development. I always thought it was something like whatever I said earlier. Now that's got knocked out of my head. Yeah, but I think that's how it's pronounced, Zeta. That's how Trump always, or not Trump, Mark always says it. Why'd I call him Trump? That's funny. Well, he's off buying other countries' land and being like, we can make a resort here.
He's pretty tan.
And he's pretty tan.
He is pretty tan. I don't know. He
quite
doesn't
orange.
have no comb over though.
No, he has real hair. Oh, never mind. I thought I looked at the wrong phone. I thought we had a call. 603-283-6160 is the phone number if you'd like to get in on the conversation with us. Yeah, I just thought that was a little interesting. Interesting little fun fact, basically. There's literally nothing else to it. But
he was totally tied up with like selling drugs though, right?
Oh, I don't know, like, what's the truth about that. Like, I didn't look into that at all. Another thing that's kind of weird, and I'm just going to say this and not really read an article about it, is that at the same time this week, last week, technically at this point, on November 30th, there was an election in Honduras, and still, to this day, it's been contested, whoever won. They said it was so close, at one of the counts, it was only 515 votes for the whole country in Honduras. Between these two candidates, and it's like the leftist and the conservative, and they're saying Trump interfered with our election because he backed the conservative one. And it just seems to me like one of those things where they keep recounting and getting delayed and having to stop and start over. Seems like they're trying to smudge it. That's not the word.
Fudge the numbers.
Yeah, fudge the numbers. I said smudge. Exactly. It seems like they're trying to cook something up, so we'll see what happens with that.
They're gonna waft a burning sage over the election results. They're gonna smudge it.
Oh yeah.
That'd be funny.
In their mind, they think orange man bad, and in the Socialist Party there, they just think like, oh, white man bad too. It's so dumb. Like,
that's how most color revolutions go in these quote unquote colonized areas. I mean, that's what happened in South Africa. Is what happened in a place like Rhodesia, Zimbabwe, whatever they call it these days. They always do these color revolutions through the lens of race, because it's
is that why it's called color, or is that some?
No, that's just like the greens, the blues, the black shirts. Socialist color revolutions is a term for like all these leftist, like Marxist kind of revolutions that have happened across the world. South America, from South America to Russia to Pol Pot.
Yes.
Those guys. But it's always, you forget, like, so you have critical theory, right? Critical theory is a Marxist concept, right? It's about exposing power systems, they claim, and the idea is there's always an oppressor and an oppressee through this idea of critical theory,
like, come
right?
with me and you won't be oppressed anymore.
Yes, that's how Marx divides the world. He wants to have.
So when you add race, that's critical race theory, right? This is still a critical theory. This is still Marxism.
Yep.
I had to call this out a lot in college because they tried to teach critical theory, and I was like, "This is just you're teaching me Marxism in communications class. Well, this should be a philosophy class, right? Like I shouldn't be learning about critical theory as a way to view the world." Like in a HR setting, right? It's just DEI crap.
Yeah.
But like, so it is just Marxist thinking applied to race. So it's just Marxism through the lens of race to make the oppressor and the oppressee.
And
right?
definitely Karl Marx is not a good guy either. He was lazy. He was just a terrible human being.
Well, we do have a caller on the line, so I do not want to lose the caller. It looks like it's Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hi, Bonnie. Thanks for taking my call. Can you hear me over there?
Yeah, we hear you great. What's on your
Loud
mind?
and clear.
Awesome. I wanted to ask you about a conversation we had at PorcFest this summer, Bonnie, you and I, and I'm really curious reading a lot about what's happening with stable coins and one of the recent executive orders like the Genius Act. I learned that the company you were telling me about, Tether, has become one of the most profitable companies either in the world or in the U.S., and they're making like $1 billion with the lowest amount of employees, something like less than 120 employees.
Can you remind me what I told you about Tether? Because I don't remember what I told you about Tether.
I get it. So I wanted to ask you, you were mentioning about the Tether trade, I believe, and maybe this will remind you. You were telling me about how I asked how people could make money with Tether because I viewed it as a stable coin that stayed pegged to the dollar. And you lit up like a light bulb, and you knew something about it that I had never heard before. And I called in tonight to see if I could jog your memory and if you might remember, what is it that people do instead of investing in other crypto like XRP or Bitcoin or any other things that are out there, why people would be incentivized to be able to make money in this Tether trade that seems pegged to the dollar. And you seem to know about that. I was wondering, maybe you remember.
I honestly am not sure if this is going to answer your question really. One thing I know is that people like to use Tether so that way when they're trading, they can keep their money in Tether when they think that things are going to go down, that the other crypto that they were in is going to go down, and then use that same Tether to buy, like say that they just bought Bitcoin price went down, they use that same Tether to quickly buy more Bitcoin. So they just use the same amount of basically dollars to make more Bitcoin for the same amount of dollars. Does that make sense? I know that people do that.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, then they can use that as a side trade to preserve their value and then basically short what they think would be going down, as things do, up and down, right? So I get that. And now I understand a little bit more than I did when I saw you in the summer. So that was what I was calling about today. I thought that there might be something where people buy Tether as a stable coin in these tiny little margins of volatility that I thought maybe you knew something about that made me curious to learn more. But that's what I was calling in for tonight. If you don't, that's okay. But if you did, I thought I would ask that again before I hung up.
Do you know anything about that?
No,
I'm not one of the crypto guru guys. Sorry.
I'm just not a trader, so that's the thing. I don't really trade or try to make more money with crypto. I think its most important use is being used as, people buying
like a parallel
things
economy.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. I think that there's a lot happening in this sphere with stable coins, and I'm hoping to learn more about it as fast as I can. I was a little late to the party on the other fun parts that happened in the last 10, 15 years.
Well, you're probably early in the whole history of things. Like in 10 years, everybody's. I mean, the fact that since I first came to New Hampshire, there were so many people in my life that was 2020. People didn't know about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in my life at all, and now it's just mainstream. That happens so fast, I feel people forget, Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, 5 years is not a long time in the grand scheme of the history of the claimed history of what we know. 5 years is nothing. That's that's not even like a footnote in your history book.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for doing the show, and thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for calling and bringing up what was on your mind. I appreciate it. The number is 603-283-6160 if you'd like to bring up whatever's on your mind too. Sorry if I didn't really answer his question correctly.
Where were we right before that came in? I had something on the tip of my tongue. We were talking about...
First, we're talking about Pearl Harbor, then color revolutions.
Oh, yeah, it's just the...
and how evil Marx is.
Yeah. Well, I think, okay, then there's this other issue with people taking what Marx wrote and trying to make a doctrine out of it, right? Karl Marx wrote this manifesto for the perfect man. A completely just and moral individual.
Oh, like people, like whenever Sarah says,
what he
they
would
all
say.
want to work for their community.
Yeah, no, but in his mind, it's he's looking at maybe 3 million years to the future, where the penultimate man, and we're not that.
Yeah.
Right, because we still hate each other for tiny differences. Right. He wrote this as what he saw what the future could be like, not in the next 100 years, but in the next 30,000, 40,000, a million years, right? Because he's an evolutionary, right? Goes along with the idea of evolution. He thinks this is what the ultimate man would look like, and we're trying to retroactively fit that onto ourselves, and that doesn't work because we don't have the perfect morality that this perfect man in Marx's book has. Does that make sense?
It does. I didn't know
that's
that.
That's why Marx's theory makes so much sense. Like, that's why it looks so good on paper, and that's why it dupes a bunch of stupid college kids, is because in theory it sounds great. But people don't work how theories work because we're fallible and we do evil things and we're selfish and we backstab and we lie and we don't take care of each other. That's why systems like communism can't work, is because humans are not inherently good.
It's kind of funny that the people who love Marxism so much are usually the ones that I would describe that way too. They're not good. They're looking for what they can get out of each other and stuff like that. Like when you go to the co-op, when you go to the co-op in Keene, you're not dealing with anybody who like cares to be a good customer service. They act like, ugh, why are you asking me a question? It's violence. Like when you go to just a regular grocery store in Keene, you ask a person working there a question, that you just get a totally different vibe. It's like,
yeah, well, at a Market Basket, there's like a laser pointed at their chest.
I know.
They have to be nice, like because they got snipers posted everywhere.
The Chick-fil-A type of
that's
customer.
what I mean. There's like they got a sniper team pointed at the poor Market Basket. The 14-year-old guy pushing around the cart.
It's so great to see 14-year-olds working at Market Basket.
Yeah, I love seeing the younger guys work at Market Basket. I think it's good that they hire them. A lot of places have quit hiring teenagers because they're kind of a mess.
Yeah, it seems like they're like the Chick-fil-A, like
the little suits. It's like walking back in time almost. It's
that's true.
I've never. There's nowhere on the West Coast that has uniforms like that.
Oh.
So like I walk in and it's like, people still. What is this? What do you guys have suits on? This is weird.
Even like their sign and everything, it does have like a vintage kind of feel.
Yeah, a yesteryear thing going on. But yeah, Marx is a story for the
Did he claim that, or are you just saying you think or that's what he intended, or what?
Well, I think that's kind of I'm not sure if he explicitly said that. Well, I think he might have. I'll have to go back. It's a big book.
I never read it. Not interested.
But he kind of that's just really what. Maybe I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt by explaining it like this, but that's just how I view Marxism. Is he's writing about something that doesn't exist. It's literally to the root a theory. Mm-hmm. This is his theory of what man will look like at some point in the future.
And you know what's crazy? It's like, I don't know if he meant it that way or whatever, but weirdly enough, in a way, I have thought this same exact thing myself. Not that exactly as the same as Marx or anything. I have thought that as the world evolves and matures, and if it's allowed to without the psychopaths stopping us, and actually letting real capitalism be tried so that way people can be the most prosperous they've ever been, we will have more people that do things with like trade with other countries and do things for their family and friends because of the love of humanity than we do now, because people are put in these horrible positions where there's like insane poverty that the three of us like could hardly imagine in most countries, or not most countries, but maybe even most.
No, yeah, a lot of the world's still sleeping on dirt floors and straw mats.
Like my little brother just asked me, what do I think about sweatshops the other day? And I was like, you're going to be surprised, but I'm pro sweatshop as long as it's not slavery, because, well, those people are doing that job for such a low pay because that's the job that is the best for them. That they couldn't possibly do anything better. They chose that. But if it's slavery, that's a totally different thing. And he was just like, huh? Yeah. Well, anyway, 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up.
Hey, you are going to love the movie Victimless Crime Spree. It's hilarious, heartwarming, and carries a ton of inspiring freedom messages. Feeling down about the lack of liberty in your life? You need to put on this film with some friends and have a good laugh. It's a true story about me and my friends in New Hampshire living free, singing, dancing, and getting arrested. Of course, it's all on video, and the bad guys, the cops, judges, bailiffs, and sheriffs, they all play their part like it's out of a movie or something. You would think we scripted the whole thing, but it's real life. Go ahead and have a watch, and if it's been a while, have another look. I guarantee you'll notice things now that you didn't notice before. And the best part is that you're going to walk away feeling a renewed sense of your own power. You are the master of your destiny, and you will be free in your lifetime. Victimless Crime Spree.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper with the Week in Review. US strikes on suspected drug boats remained a major focus in Washington this week. The White House confirmed that the US carried out a second strike on a boat in the Caribbean Sea in September as 2 injured people clung to the wreckage. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth authorized the second strike, which critics now say could amount to a war crime. Ever since Tony Waterman was monitoring developments in Washington.
Press Secretary Leavitt said Pete Hegseth authorized the commander of the operation, Admiral Frank Bradley, to carry out the strikes, defending it as a matter of national security.
Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated.
Democrat and Republican lawmakers have vowed to launch investigations into what could be a potential war crime. It's illegal to intentionally kill wounded, sick, or shipwrecked people who are not fighting back. President Trump has said he still has confidence in Hegseth, but wouldn't have ordered a second strike.
The Ukraine peace plan was discussed around the world this week in Moscow, where US envoy Steve Witkoff met Russian President Vladimir Putin, then in Miami, where a Ukrainian delegation met with Witkoff, and in New Delhi, where President Putin met India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The leaders' summit came amid Western pressure on India to reduce its trade with Moscow and use its influence to get Putin to end the war in Ukraine. FSN's Zishan Garg sent this report from New Delhi.
Now, from India's perspective, what it could do potentially to woo the United States on the other side, and that's something the European capitals have also been asking New Delhi as well, is to ask President Vladimir Putin to put an end to the war in Ukraine. European envoys have privately told the Indian government that Prime Minister Modi has President Putin's ear, and therefore he should use this influence to ensure that President Putin comes to the table, signs a peace deal, and puts an end to the Ukraine war.
This week, the FBI said it arrested a man suspected of planting pipe bombs outside the Republican and Democratic Party headquarters in Washington, D.C., following a years-long inquiry. The devices were left on January the 5th, 2021, the day before Donald Trump's supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol. The week ended with a mixture of sport and politics as US President Donald Trump was awarded the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize. It came at the draw to find out which countries will play each other at next summer's Football World Cup. The draw was held in Washington, D.C., with the event next year being hosted by the US, Canada and Mexico. From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN.
We're still not sure why you'd want to watch, but our video feed is streaming nightly for free at cam.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. And are you tired of the oppressive rules and moderation of the big tech social media sites? Our Mastodon server at social.freetalklive.com can set you free. Mastodon is free, open source, decentralized, and federated. Multiple apps are available for iOS, Android, Mac, Windows, and Linux. Social.freetalklive.com. And with you on the show tonight, you've got me, Bonnie,
Riley O'Bill,
and Angelo.
And we've been talking about all kinds of different subjects tonight, and we had a caller I've never heard before, so that's awesome. Thanks for calling in, Mickey Mouse. And it's always great to hear from you guys. So 603-283-6160 is the phone number to bring up whatever's on your mind. And something Riley brought in tonight. EU hits Elon Musk's X, aka otherwise known as Twitter, with 120 million euro fine for breaching Block's social media law. So the European Union regulators on Friday fined Elon Musk's social media platform 120 million euros or $140 million for breaches of the bloc's digital regulations in a move that risks rekindling tensions with Washington over free speech. I hope they don't pay the fine. Really,
I hope so too. It would be really stupid to pay a fine to the European Union probably one of the most oppressive, state worshipping,
toothless.
Oh, toothless, absolutely. It's just this big status overlord that people just say, "Oh, we gotta love the EU. It's the best place to go." It's disgusting. Like, no, it's disgusting.
We need more Brexit movements also.
Yes, more Brexit, more New Hampshire exit movements, more of this decentralization, more secession.
I agree.
I think the EU is just a tool to keep Germany on its knees.
When you guys were talking about that, like the first thing that pops into my head is people being literally swatted in their houses because of social media posts in Germany.
Yeah, well, in Germany, it just used to be. It still is the biggest economy in Europe, but they, I think they've left. They used to be the world's greatest engineers, and they still have like high quality stuff.
They even have
over
the best
there.
vacuums.
Yeah, yeah.
crazy.
They, but I think the EU was kind of made to keep Europe down, if that makes sense. Like,
it does.
They couldn't afford another Hitler. They can't afford another Napoleon. They can't afford another Charlemagne. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't
so they're
afford
overreacting and becoming too much of a place state.
Well, they can't afford one of these countries becoming too powerful and then them trying to go, because Europe's tiny, right? And with today's technology, with like tanks, planes, and automobiles, you can, it's such a small area. You
I
can't
don't understand why the Ukraine war isn't over.
because it's a money dump.
It's being funded by the United States government.
Yeah, it's a money dump.
But
It's
how
a
are
money
there
pit.
anybody left in Ukraine to die?
I don't think there is. I think a lot of people are.
Or the numbers are inflated.
I have
literal
ran
show.
into people who like have went there themselves and fought in the Ukraine as like
Whoa.
volunteer forces, and
So crazy.
they'll be there for like 6 or 8 months and then rotate back to America, and then if they
I
want to
heard
go
about that
back, they
happening,
can.
but haven't
Yeah,
met
I met a couple of people when I was back in Oregon. They were like ex GWAT guys who were like, I fight wars. That's what I do. So I'm gonna go fight I'm gonna go be where the war is, because there's
Wow.
nothing for me here.
I listened to just it's like one of the paranormal podcasts I listened to. This guy was a documentary maker, so he went to Ukraine, and then he felt, I didn't get close enough to like the front lines. I want to go closer next time. He went again, and he got stuck in like a war zone, and he had to just lay on the ground and look at this flower for literally hours until the sun went down. He just decided to himself that was the best chance of surviving. And while he was doing that, he felt his grandfather appear next to him and tell him like all this nice stuff, and it helped like the time go by and made him feel better.
Interesting. Yeah.
Anyways.
I imagine it did.
Almost like a guardian angel type of thing.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I think that's really cool. But I felt like that wasn't really part of the topic we were talking about. Oh yeah, Europe. One thing that people don't actually think about or talk about much at all is very strange to me is like everybody talks about like the Jewish diaspora from like when Babylon took them, and then also when Rome destroyed Israel, and then maybe they call
when
it
they
a
switched
diaspora.
from Mosaic to Rabbinic.
I don't know if that's when that was or whatever, but and then the diaspora, we hear that about that. We hear about the African diaspora because they got sold as slaves to lots of places, but nobody thinks about the German diaspora. There are Germans all over the entire world because of Nazi stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
Regular
and there was
Germans,
also,
not Jewish Germans.
there were Germans all over the world before World War II. Anyways, they were
It's
they were
rumored
everywhere.
that
Yeah.
some of the Nazis, including probably Hitler.
I don't even mean just Nazis. I mean like people.
Oh yeah. Well, I know a lot of people, a lot of American Germans, dude. In 1935 in Texas on the radio stations, they were saying move home to Germany. They applauded Hitler. They liked what he was doing.
Interesting.
You're forgetting that eugenics started in America. We were the top eugenicists. Hitler liked America for our eugenics programs with like the Tuskegee experiment and the way we.
You mean Tuskegee?
Yeah, Tuskegee. The Tuskegee experiment. The way we would like at our crazy at the asylums, the abuse that went on at asylums, and the testing that we did there, and how we would.
Hitler didn't just make stuff up himself.
Yeah, no, we did this. Everybody was doing the eugenics thing from like the 1890s on. It was like the rage for the upper echelon of society. The elites were all about eugenics.
And I guess I mostly brought up like people don't think about the diaspora of Germans because you're saying like, they used to be like the best architects and engineers.
Yeah, and they
stuff.
went all over the world
But
and built
no,
crazy
the
stuff.
problem is I don't think there's that many Germans in Germany anymore. And that's probably why you're seeing like things decline so badly.
No, that could be too. And then we killed I mean, how many?
Dresden.
Nobody talks about Dresden. What the Russians did to the German civilians as they steamrolled their way back from Moscow. Was just
the Germans that had already went to Russia.
No, so the Russians, when they beat the Germans back and went into Berlin, they went through and they Shermaned like all the way. They burnt everything in their path. They raped and pillaged and killed women and children and took vengeance for what the Germans they say the German people did to their people. And so like Stalingrad. Yeah, it was actually horrific. That like you did not want to get caught by the Russians. You're better off killing yourself.
Or the Japanese, their war prison sounded awful.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the European Union because, and Europe in general, and just things about it, because the European Union regulators fined X, or it used to be called Twitter, Elon Musk's social media platform, $140 million for breaches of the bloc's, that's what they're calling the European Union, if that's not clear, for the bloc's digital regulations, in a move that risks rekindling tensions with Washington over free speech. I don't know if Washington really cares. They're all in cahoots.
They are.
Well, unless it's another excuse for war.
Yeah. The European Commission issued its decision following an investigation it opened 2 years ago into X under the 27-nation bloc's Digital Services Act, also known as the DSA.
And what happens if Musk doesn't even pay the fine?
They'll probably shut down access to the site in Europe.
Oh, well, just use a VPN.
Yeah.
Well, they do. Yeah, that does solve everything. But like your average grandpa doesn't. Well, not that your average grandpa's on X, but like a lot of people just don't use VPNs. Like if they can't get to the site, they just don't care.
In China, they know about their wall of fire, so like people that come visit, they know about VPNs. So I think it might just depend on the culture. Like if you want to get on Twitter,
well, they would just make the usage of a VPN punishable by death, and if they catch you, then you're done. And then that's what they do in China.
I think that is
you just
what
disappear.
They're doing in Germany, right? Or I mean, Europe in general right now. So at least it hasn't gotten to that point right now.
Yeah. What is the average amount of? I knew that there was like 30,000 arrests in the UK over tweets in the past year or something.
That's so bad.
And there was like a 600 political arrests in Russia.
That's not even related to the DSA because the Digital Services Act was just the European Union.
Yeah, and Brexit. Yeah.
But I was thinking about this today. I was like, Brexit happened, and when I was like a kid and I first heard about that, I would have thought like, oh, it was going to be amazing in Europe once they Brexited. But really, what did they do since then? They just became their own little tyrannical, crappy nation to the left.
Oceania.
Yeah. To the left. Maybe I should have said the west. But
yeah, well, it's just they Brexited and then they didn't pick the right management,
Yep.
But I mean, their what was
bad.
Boris is just
Boris Johnson
is just such a goofy guy.
Is that him?
Yeah, it's Boris Johnson standing up there with his toupee flapping halfway off his head while he's trying to lecture people. If that's going to be your conservative leader, that's not. You know what I mean?
I've never seen that. That's hilarious. So it says it's the first time that the EU has issued a so-called non-compliance decision since rolling out the DSA, the Digital Services Act. The sweeping rule book requires platforms to take more responsibility for protecting European users, protecting them, and cleaning up harmful or illegal content and products on their sites.
Why should it be the government's responsibility to protect you from what's on social media, not your
Because if you question
or a social media site,
if you question a certain event that happened in the 40s inside of Germany,
that's why they're mad.
Yeah, no, it's a bunch of people freaking out about anti-Semitism. That's why you're going to get arrested in Germany. Is if you say something bad about Muslims or you question the Holocaust. You don't even have to question it. You could just like allude to joking about questioning it, and you're done.
Yeah. Did you see the video of the Muslims that were busting out like some kind of Muslim like Islamic music and dancing to it in Christmas markets, so that way they could like disrupt the peace and
at the bazaars, the Christmas bazaars.
That was this year. So at least they're not bombing.
Yeah, that's a little better than bombing somebody.
That's so annoying. It's like, why go and try to destroy something for people just trying to enjoy it? Like, I've always, since I was a kid, thought like, if I went to Europe, I don't want to be cold, but I would love to go to Germany in the winter and go for like Christmas time.
Yeah,
That's,
or like
sounds
Sweden.
elite.
Sweden during Christmas sounds like a lot of fun. Like
So
the
pretty.
the Nordic countries.
Yeah, like any of those. But I feel like Germany's maybe more OG, but I could be wrong. I don't really know. But Germany just what sounded like in specifically Christmas time sounded so fun to me. And it's like, imagine going there and it's all Muslims dancing to Islamic music to try to get people like
To not come.
or
To like not be there.
irritate people. It's
Yeah.
like those people that talk on the phone out loud and on a plane or whatever. Well, we have
Those are the
caller-
same people.
Yeah. We have a caller on the line, and it's Sarah in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Yes, yeah, I've been running around and trying to talk to people about that same day registration, same day voting, and most of the people are just clueless. They're like, "Yo, we got the same thing what Oregon has and Colorado has. It's a big deal, and we had it for 5 years." And they're like, "What? Huh?"
Don't they
Well,
have
you
time?
can't?
When's the next time you guys are going to be voting?
Well, we are voting now.
Oh, okay.
We've been doing the runoff. But all
For
the-
mayors, yes, in Albuquerque.
Yeah, and then we got the election day, but you could register and vote on the same day. So I talked to one of my neighbors, and I found out he messed up his registration. He said, when you asked him, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" he said no. I mean, how stupid can you be?
Dang.
I don't know why he.
Wait, is this the guy that hated that you painted the fence?
No, he's a guy that I don't know. He lives around, like he was just yo-yoing around, and it's like, well, Keller's gonna get it, so he really don't care about voting. He thinks that how the Democrats are very relaxed. If I don't vote, there's 10 other Democrats or 7 of them that will vote instead of me. I mean, so I don't really have.
Yeah, I don't know. I actively avoid spending time around Democrats.
Honestly, my impression was more that they were way more organized and wanted to get people to vote, to be honest. But
I guess not young Democrats. Young Democrats are like hippies, dude. Weed smoking. It's chilling, man. Somebody else is gonna do the work for me, dude.
also-
I never have to do it.
But also look at, like, New York
somebody
City.
else will do it for me.
The young people in New York City just got their mayor, their communist mayor elected. So I don't know.
Well, I don't know. This was an older guy, and he really never. What he said was that, and then today I found out that he didn't vote, and I told him about the one next Tuesday vote, and then he's like, "Oh, I messed up my my registration. I voted no on the citizens." Like he really don't. He never really care about voting. So, and I was telling him about we got same day registration, same day voting, and nobody really understands what we have. It's a big deal what we accomplished.
Are you sure it wasn't just a conversation killer?
I have no idea if he's really going to vote, but the whole attitude is, well, I'll just go there election day if I'm not doing anything because, well, Killer's going to win because for every one Republican, there's like 4 or 5 Democrats. And if half the people showed up, they're going to just win. So a lot of times that's why the Republicans do win. Because Democrats just stay home and they're lazy and they don't think that they have to do anything. And all it takes is just all the Republicans to come out, and that's enough to win by 1 or 2%. It's just a very like a careless attitude. But you're right. It depends on what person you talk to. So, like you said, like there's Democrats like me that are really out to get the vote. And then there's people that don't want to vote. And I run into a lot of people. They tell me, "Oh, all the politicians are all corrupt. They're all same. There's no point in voting."
It's true. They're all corrupt.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a more new viewpoint, I'd say. Lots of people see things that way now, and in the past, it was more just left or right.
Well, that's because they keep asking. I keep voting left and right, and then all my money continues to go to Israel. That's what happens.
Yeah, but I mean, but the whole thing is that the president, okay, in a federal election, sometimes you really can't feel anything coming down, really. But the local, your city election, you're supposed to feel it. Whoever you vote for, they make like local laws right away. It's like, that's the difference between, I'm talking to one neighbor, he's like, do you want to have some speeding cameras or no speeding cameras? That's one issue. Darrell White is going to pull out all the speeding cameras. Do you want to have 20 or something? So I got him excited. He was going to go vote on election day. He was like, what's the website? But I finally got something that he was really wanting. If there's nothing that they really want, they don't see the difference between one or the other.
Well, that's just the issue of the single issue voter. That's been a problem forever.
The thing, but they can't. They don't have the energy or the time. They want to be bothered with looking for anything else. If you're a homeless person, you want to shut down all the homeless shelter and get arrested and put in jail. That's what the Republican Darrell White is going to do. Or do you want to have some homeless shelter that treat you like a human being and that's going to let you live outside for a while before they throw you out and clean you out? I mean, it's a very single issue. See, but I used to be formerly homeless. I was formerly homeless for like 10 years. I want somebody that's going to take care of, have youth homeless shelter, gateway shelters, try to help them. What we got now, you don't want this Republican guy that's going to just pull out all the funding. That's another one issue. We're going on two issues. There's nothing much to think about.
Yeah, but that's an issue. That's an issue you care about. Because you were in that position before. A lot of people weren't, so they don't care. Right? And that's why they don't find another issue, because it's a non-issue to them. It just isn't.
But do you know who's a real liar? If Darrell White, he says homelessness and crime. Like, you know what? Every time he says that, he's lying, because nothing's going to change. You think he's going to solve the homelessness and crime problem when he gets elected?
No government is going to solve homelessness, Sarah.
Or
crime.
Yeah.
They're criminals. They feed off of crime.
That's it. Yeah, he's a one lying politician. Every time he moves his lips on TV, every time I'm going to solve the homelessness and crime on day one, he's a full of liar. You know, that's
isn't that
all
every
he is.
politician?
Has homelessness, so wait, Teller's the mayor right now, right?
Right.
Has homelessness gone up or down?
Well, they were saying that. I don't know. How can you really count the homeless population? It's all like depending on who's reporting it. Like you ask Keller, they'll be like, "We're taking care of homeless. We have less homeless." You ask Darrell White, the other guys, like, "We have homeless people coming from all over the country to come over here."
So don't let your lying eyes deceive you. If you look outside, are there more tents than there was?
I don't know if I kind of agree with Sarah that you can't always believe these counts, but this says that it jumped from 2024 to 2025 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This says that there was an 8% jump from 2,740 people to 2,960 people accounted for. So looks like it's going up, Sarah. But Sarah's problem is less about more or less homeless people. Sarah wants the homeless people there to be taken care of, not thrown in jail and stuff like that.
Which is fine,
just
but
clarifying.
government never solves homelessness.
Government shouldn't be the one that you're relying on to do these things. Like, if you think there are people out there that genuinely just need help, they can't go get a job, and they genuinely need to be helped by their neighbors and society, you shouldn't be looking to government. I know that in the recent years, Sarah actually got into churches because of this. Is that fair to say, Sarah?
Well, I went to church today. Mostly, I went to talk about the hoodie gate or the sweatshirt gate to the just to let them know they're exploiting the homeless. How they're trying to use the homeless as a prop, to poke fun at Tim Keller. Because when the weather gets cold, they brought this 100 yellow sweatshirts, same color as the Keller's campaign, to make him look bad. But actually, I think he turned around and made him look good. Because you got 100 homeless people with his name, I Love Tim Keller, running around advertising for him. So,
weird.
No, it's I see what they did.
Yeah, I
I see what they did.
But
They
also,
were
Sarah-
like, hey, look at this dirty homeless guy wearing Tim Keller's face. He's going to be in your neighborhood next if you vote for Tim.
So
that was the whole idea.
did these people in your church appreciate you coming to church just to talk to them about this political hoodie-gate, sweater-gate?
Well, that wasn't the only. I did not say nothing during the service. I just talked about them, and then but they work with the homeless in the street. They're talking about the so and so is with the homeless ministry. Can you bring your jacket? And they were kind of like, I can't believe this. They were pretty upset about it, even though I could see it in their face. That they're gonna use the homeless people like that. The homeless people. What was funny? They have no idea who was on the shirt.
Yeah.
They were just wearing it because they were cold.
That's honestly pretty hilarious. I'm sorry. It's just a really hilarious thought. I've never thought of somebody doing this. Like,
Yeah.
you want to make it look like Angela said, oh, this candidate's going to bring more homeless people. You give out sweaters, and all the homeless people that are cold are wearing sweaters, and it's like,
Sarah called in about this last night.
oh, I didn't hear from last night.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you were here looking.
Interesting way to do
listening
that.
To me about it.
I wonder if other cities will recreate that same strategy.
That sounds like an Austin thing. That sounds like something they would do in Austin for sure. Some knucklehead
so
Republican.
This is the Republican.
That's what I'm saying.
doing it,
Some
right?
knucklehead
just
Republican is
clarifying.
going to go around Austin and hand out free sweatshirts to all the homeless there.
Well, but this is called a guerrilla political warfare. They're doing it kind of deceitful, like hidden in the background. They're not saying who did it.
Oh.
And they're supposed to do it.
That kind of makes sense. I could see it being
So there's
somehow
no
illegal.
pack attached to it or anything?
Well, they're supposed to. They spent more than $250. That's seed money. I could donate $250 without disclosing who I am, where I am, or what I'm about. But this guy spent maybe, what was it, 100 times $25 for a T-shirt. Well, what is that? Is that $2,500?
Something around there.
Yeah, if you're spending that kind of money to be a political operative, you have to disclose who you are.
Oh, that might be a law. See, that's what I'm saying. I could see the government having some law making that illegal. But thank you for the call, Sarah. That's a pretty interesting tactic. I never heard of that.
Well, there's workarounds. There's workarounds like to where you don't have to declare that you're a international lobbying organization.
And it's not a sign, it's a sweatshirt.
If you just put American at the front of the name.
6160. More Free Talk Live coming up.
This hour of Free Talk Live is brought to you by Dash Digital Cash. Dash is the cryptocurrency designed to be used for spending. Tired of the ever-inflating US dollar? You can live your life on Dash instead with some handy websites. BitRefill.com has been accepting Dash for years and has a ton of big-name retailers and brands including grocers, gas stations, phone refills, Amazon, and even prepaid MasterCards. Plus, many of their gift cards are available at a discount. But what about paying your bills? Spritz.finance can do that, and they can send dollars to your bank account in case you still need those for some reason. Dash is one of the oldest cryptocurrencies and is widely available on exchanges, including the decentralized Maya protocol, and in multi-crypto wallets. It's easy to get and use Dash. Start by learning more at Dash.org. Thanks to the Dash DAO for sending us 32 Dash per month to promote Dash on the air. Visit Dash.org to learn about Dash. Dash.org. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper with the Week in Review. US strikes on suspected drug boats remained a major focus in Washington this week. The White House confirmed that the US carried out a second strike on a boat in the Caribbean Sea in September as 2 injured people clung to the wreckage. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth authorized the second strike, which critics now say could amount to a war crime. Ever since Tony Waterman was monitoring developments in Washington.
Press Secretary Leavitt said Pete Hegseth authorized the commander of the operation, Admiral Frank Bradley, to carry out the strikes, defending it as a matter of national security.
Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated.
Democrat and Republican lawmakers have vowed to launch investigations into what could be a potential war crime. It's illegal to intentionally kill wounded, sick, or shipwrecked people who are not fighting back. President Trump has said he still has confidence in Hegseth, but wouldn't have ordered a second strike.
The Ukraine peace plan was discussed around the world this week. In Moscow, where US envoy Steve Witkoff met Russian President Vladimir Putin. Then in Miami, where a Ukrainian delegation met with Witkoff. And in New Delhi, where President Putin met India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The leaders' summit came amid Western pressure on India to reduce its trade with Moscow and use its influence to get Putin to end the war in Ukraine. FSN's Zishan Garg sent this report from New Delhi.
Now, from India's perspective, what it could do potentially to woo the United States on the other side, and that's something the European capitals have also been asking New Delhi as well, is to ask President Vladimir Putin to put an end to the war in Ukraine. European envoys have privately told the Indian government that Prime Minister Modi has President Putin's ear, and therefore he should use this influence to ensure that President Putin comes to the table, signs a peace deal, and puts an end to the Ukraine war.
This week, the FBI said it arrested a man suspected of planting pipe bombs outside the Republican and Democratic Party headquarters in Washington, D.C., following a years-long inquiry. The devices were left on January the 5th, 2021, the day before Donald Trump's supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol. The week ended with a mixture of sport and politics as US President Donald Trump was awarded the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize. It came at the draw to find out which countries will play each other at next summer's Football World Cup. The draw was held in Washington, D.C., with the event next year being hosted by the US, Canada and Mexico. From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN. Leaders of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda this week signed a peace deal negotiated by the US, aimed at stabilizing a war-scarred region and attracting Western mining investment. It came as part of an expected minerals and infrastructure partnership between the DRC and the Trump administration. Ever since Kate Fisher sent this report from Washington.
The two African nations have been involved in one of the longest-running conflicts in the world. The so-called Washington Accord was signed in the newly named Donald J. Trump Institute for Peace in Washington.
This has become the 8th war that we've ended in less than 1 year. Such an exciting thing to do. This has been because we're talking about 30 years of fighting, 30 years, much more than 10 million lives.
But the ceremony is largely symbolic. The agreement was already signed over the summer and critics still see obstacles to its implementation, not least that the fighting between Congolese forces and Rwanda-backed M23 rebels continues to rage in eastern Congo. Kate Fisher, Washington.
The death toll from Hong Kong's worst fire in decades this week rose to 159. Around 30 people, though, are still missing. Ever since Laura Westbrook reports from Hong Kong.
Police haven't ruled out the death toll rising further as they continue their forensic testing. Meanwhile, mourners continued to stream to a small park near the site of the fire, placing flowers and handwritten notes as they paid tribute to the victims, the youngest of whom was a 1-year-old baby and the oldest 97. Authorities earlier said the fire on the estate, which was undergoing major renovations, was likely made worse by the use of netting that did not meet fire-resistant standards. Officials are also monitoring for any unrest linked to the incident.
And that's the Week in Review. That's Feature Story News. Nick Harper reporting.
Bewildered paralegal Caitlin Levy says that after returning home from work today, it occurred to her that oddly at no point during her day was she harassed, leered at, or made to feel humiliated or physically threatened.
It's weird. Looking back on it, I suddenly realized that not one strange man made a creepy comment at me or an obscene gesture or a sleazy look for like the whole day. How can that be?
The 29-year-old told reporters that even at points in her day when she is traditionally almost certain to be made uncomfortable by at least one or two leering male strangers, not a single such instance occurred.
I actually got to walk from the train to my office and never once catch some weirdo smiling at me or looking me up and down or slowing down his car to yell some shit out the window at me. I felt weirdly safe or something.
This is the Onion News Network.
You can help spread the ideas of liberty with our Patreon for just $5 per month at amps.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie,
Riley O'Bill,
and Angelo.
and we have callers on the line, but if you'd like to join us, there's lots of room for you. 603-283-6160. And in the last segment, we were talking about the EU has fined Elon Musk over making Twitter or X not a safe place for Europeans. They can't be safe if they read people's opinions on Twitter.
Government keeping people enslaved since its inception. Not safe.
Exactly, I agree.
Government is never safe. They never want to keep you safe. They want to keep you enslaved. They're only out for their own interests.
I don't believe that they actually want to keep people safe either. Why else would wars exist?
Exactly.
Meat grinders. Okay, but we have a caller on the line, so I'm going to go to the phones. Turd Ferguson in Pennsylvania, you're on Free Talk Live. What is on your mind?
Well, I don't know. A few things, I guess. I'm like one of the more probably anti-racist people in the world, to be honest. Let me just preface this with that. I really think it's legitimately evil to judge people based on the color of their skin.
Yes. Just that, yeah, definitely. I think that people's cultures are fair game to be. I just don't like that culture. But go ahead.
Bonnie, I 100% agree with you on that, and that's why I just call you Base Bonnie. You're so based.
Why, thank you.
Is that her new nickname for the show? Based Bonnie?
I've called her Base Bonnie for a long time.
Okay.
I just don't like Indians. I'm sorry, and
Which
they've
ones?
done that to themselves. The ones from India.
The dots. Dots, not feathers.
Yes.
I got it.
I'm not talking about Native Americans. I love my Native American brethren. I'm talking about Indians.
Are there a lot in a town? I almost called it Townsend. What is it?
Shrewsbury.
Shrewsbury.
Whoa.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think there's a lot of them left on this side of the country.
Are there a lot in Pennsylvania? No. I mean Native Americans. Sorry, at that point when I was asking that. Are there a lot in Shrewsbury? Are there a lot in Pennsylvania?
Oh, Native Americans? Not a ton, but I mean, I do know that a few years ago, I don't think they live here anymore, but there was this one Native American family, and their teenage daughter was like one of the sexiest little chicas I've ever seen. Just really, really sweet body.
Pretty sure that's Spanish.
Awesome hair, like really like black, long hair. Just mwah, chef's kiss.
Well,
but I'm talking about Indians though.
Yeah. So why did you want to call in to say that you don't like Indians? Well, what drove you to decide to feel that way, and also to call in to talk to us about it?
Well, for a bunch of reasons. I mean, and by the way, I used to be fine with them, but I mean, I've met with a lot of them. There aren't any Indians in Shrewsbury, thank God, but there are a lot in Allentown. and there are a lot in the outskirts, like the suburbs of Philadelphia, and I have to drive there for appointments sometimes. I hate meeting with Indians, dude. I hate it.
Meeting
They
with them,
never
like even
buy.
like doctors and stuff. Is that what you said? Meeting with them?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, well, meeting, yeah, well, when I drive there for appointments, like sales appointments, to sell them home remodels, yeah, they just never buy. They just call you and waste your time. And I have to go there tomorrow to, God forbid, I hate this. I have to drive to the suburbs of Philadelphia. It's far away. I already don't want to drive there. And then I'm gonna have to eat with this Indian who's gonna waste my time for 2 hours. And I just don't. I'm trying to figure out any way to get out of this. Like maybe I could just call him and just give him a quote over the phone, which I would obviously get fired for doing. But I don't want to go there so much. So like maybe I could just make up a price and call him, and then just not go.
So like they just never update their
They
kitchens
never
or whatever.
buy. They waste your time and waste your time and waste your time, and then when it comes to buy something, they never do it.
So if an Indian
And-
person in Philadelphia is gonna Philadelphia is gonna update their kitchen, what do they do then if they never buy? I'm just a little confused.
Well, I'm the bathroom guy.
Oh, bathroom.
But,
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, well, if they probably just won't do it. It's probably what they want to, but then when they see they actually have to in a capitalist society like America, when you want something good, you have to pay money for it. They just get all whiny and bitchy about it. And I don't feel
I
like
gotta say,
dealing with their nonsense.
One thing
They're so dumb.
about Indian culture that lots of people were telling me, and I'm not joking. I was like,
They
wow.
throw cow poop at each other.
No.
Yeah, that's true too.
That when
That is
I lived in Texas and I was a waitress. I just had gotten this job as a waitress at a Mediterranean restaurant. Well, a lot of Indians like to go to Mediterranean restaurants, specifically this one called Pasha in San Antonio and Austin, because it has like types of food that they like to eat. And when I was being trained by a young man, I won't say his name, from Egypt, who was like he was literally a pharmacist, but he couldn't be a pharmacist yet because he was like getting his green card and all this stuff, or maybe like it was more about getting permits. I don't know, or not permits. Whatever his licenses. But he was like a really good waiter. I remember when I ate there, he was my waiter, and he was awesome. Like he's just awesome. This guy from Egypt. And he was training me, and he told me, whenever you're waiting on a table of Indians, like from India, don't put that much effort into them. Don't, because they'll ask for lots of stuff, but they will never tip. And I was like, how racist is there something with Egyptians and Indians that I didn't know, and they just hate each other? Like, that's so mean. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give everybody the same amount. No, it was literally true.
Yeah, well, I bet you figured out pretty quick
That he was right.
Matter, didn't you?
That the Egyptian guy was
Nothing
right.
will make you prejudice against culture faster
And
than
that's a
working in
culture
service.
thing.
I'm sure.
That's not a thing that I'm like, every single person with a certain skin color will act a certain way. It is literally people from a country who have a certain culture do certain things. Like Americans are all about tipping. And like, that's a thing about our culture, you could say.
I know.
So I'm just trying to clarify that's not a
100%.
racist statement, And I used to think
there's
that way.
nothing racist. There's nothing racist about it. And by the way, I am a very generous tipper. I love tipping, especially like I always tip for even if the customer service is bad, I give them the benefit of the doubt and just be like, okay, well maybe they're just having an off day, and then I tip them like 40 to 50% of the bill.
Nice.
That's
Wow.
actually a
They're not
really good tip, dude.
So nice.
Yeah, I'm the most generous tipper in the world, and especially if it's like a cutie, like a young 18, 19-year-old cutie, you're getting a freaking good tip from me, especially if you flirt with me while I'm there and smile and be pretty.
Yeah.
Like I like that. Yeah, like that's like Americanism. That's like
Well, she just can't help it. She's super ugly, maybe a little chunky, hair on the upper lip, but she's flirting with
her. I still tip her, and even if she wasn't flirting with me. But by the way, there is a girl. She's not fat, but she's a little thicker. But she's a blonde. She's short. Who works up the road at the diner that I eat a breakfast a lot at, and I always get enormous breakfast there. But even her, I mean, she's not like hot, but she is cute, and she doesn't even flirt with me that much. But I like her, and I tip her a lot. Because I like to make people feel good. But dude, Indians are not that. They have no sense of the other person. They have no consideration for anyone but themselves, and that drives me crazy, dude.
No, if they can swindle you in their culture, if they can swindle you and lie to you and hoodwink you out of something, and you fall for it, it's your fault, and they're the winner. Yeah, it's good for them to do.
Yeah, well, I know because I get calls from them all the time. By the way, I'm not nice to those people that call me, especially from those in India. I frequently tell them that I'll find them and rape their wives and rape their daughters and all that stuff.
Oh,
And-
the scammers that
and
call
like-
you. Whoa. Gross.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I've gotten a little crazy with them too.
I don't
I'm
know
with you,
if we
Turd.
are
I've said
allowed
some
to say that on the
wild
air,
stuff.
honestly. I don't know if I have to dump that. Don't say that again, please.
Okay. Well, you probably don't. I mean, I didn't say any bad words, but
It's
I
not a
don't
bad
know. I
word.
guess maybe
It's a
maybe it's
description.
pandering to the lowest common denominator. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I have told them that. And by the way, I like making those people feel bad when they call me.
Scammers are bad people in whatever culture they came from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they're
it's
just
like, I
thieves.
don't-
Thieves are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't think. Here's the other thing. I don't like people just naturally. I just inherently don't like people who have a holiday where they literally like throw cow crap at each other. I think that's ridiculous, and it's extremely un-American and disgusting, and it breeds disease, and it's just gross. And if you're from a culture that does that, and then you celebrate it like you're like oh yeah, we're gonna go out and bathe in cow poop today. Isn't this gonna be fun? Like I think that you're a maniac.
Just
quite
so you know,
frankly, if you do.
I was skeptical and I looked it up. It is a festival, but it's only in a few villages in South India. Just so you know.
That's nonsense.
I didn't think
Yeah,
it
just
was
in a few
everyone.
villages. It's all over India, and it's disgusting. And I hate these people. And you know what? I really don't want to go to this appointment tomorrow. But you know, Bonnie, that group Cat's Eye, I really like. I mean, and I think I saw a picture of her. I don't think she looked that bad. I only saw a
Whoa.
couple.
To me, it's not
But,
that she's ugly. She's like, if I was going to rate a trans person as pretty, I would say she was like a good-looking trans person. But to me, that
Right.
looks exactly
Well, I
like a
don't really
man. Like
I really don't like trans people either, but I don't know. Well, I don't know about that. I do like Kim Petras, that's for sure.
I know she's
But,
such the exception for me.
I know. There's going to be an exception to the rule all the time. But I actually really like that song Gabriella. I think it's pop. I think it's just amazing good pop. I love pop music. Pop music's going to save the West, you know that? And I can't wait to be a part of that. I actually played a lot of pop at the club last night. I had a really good night at work last night. I've noticed, and especially because I don't get to wear the clothes that I want to as much these days, just because I'm out on the road all the time. But like when I go to the club, I get to dress how I want to. And like last night, like I wore this bomber jacket, and then I wore my Megan Fox T-shirt, and it's like her in a bikini, like licking her teeth, you know, that sexual thing that women do. And it's a really cool T-shirt. And I just having all the feminine gazes at me, it just made me feel so good. Like, and that's the power of pop. That's the power of pop culture and pop music right there. You know what I mean? I wish I got to feel that way more often because it made me feel really good.
You should go to gay bars because they listen to better music and gay guys will be flirty with you. Oh wait, I guess you don't want that.
Yeah, well, I did do that once. Don't ask me how that happened. But I know they will flirt with you. That's for sure.
Well, I wasn't able to show Riley, but I showed Angelo a picture of the girl from Cat's Eye.
Wasn't able to show Riley.
Did you think Laura?
Yeah, I guess that's true. You can't show Wiley now, can you?
No.
Did you think Laura from Cat's Eye is trans?
I maybe not off the bat, but I wouldn't consider them. That one for sure.
That's
The
the
midsection. It's the midsection.
Exactly. They're all built like rectangles, trannies. And
Yeah, they got the square. They got the square body shape compared to like the hourglass.
Disgusting. Like Arya, she's so gross. He's so gross. Really, I should use his appropriate pronoun, not the one he wants.
And you know, Laura, the one here in Cat's Eye, has a really long, skinny, strange face. Chin just protruding.
I'm not quite sure I know who you're talking about. I don't remember off the top of my head.
It's the Indian one
But,
from the pop group that sings Gabriella. So he sent me this song, Gabriella, on Twitter, and I told him I think they're American, but they do K-pop. Wait, right? Isn't that true? Are they not American?
It just sounded like straight up regular teen pop to me, just modern teen pop.
They actually are K-pop, but I just don't know if they're in Korea or America. But I know that
they've got to be in America.
Laura is a Indian American, so I'm pretty sure they're in America, but they are like their genre is K-pop. And anyways, I think that they're just like this like badly manufactured, not that great group, and I think Twice is better. So I sent him another, since Gabriella is like this Mexican-y sounding K-pop song, I sent him Firework by Twice, and it's better. Do you agree it's better?
I don't know if it was really good. I don't know. I think I probably still like Gabriella better, but I really liked Firework though. I won't lie, it was good.
Well, anything else on your mind, Turd?
I don't know. I think that's it. Just thanks for taking my call. I'm just bummed, but
Sucks you have to go out if they're
I'll be
scamming you.
I'll be thinking of you tomorrow on my way to work and how I live in New Hampshire and don't have to deal with that.
For now, when I was on the plane back from DC to New Hampshire, it was like more Muslims than white people. I don't know why.
Yeah, well,
There was like covered women and men acting like each other's
You
boyfriends.
know, when Elsbeth was knocking in Nashua a couple
look,
years
I gotta
ago,
tell
she
ya.
said there was a ton.
Well, I got to tell you, when I lived in Manchester, there were Indians at every corner store that I went to. Not so much the Cumbies, but all of like the privately owned convenience stores on every corner was all Indians.
But that's been a thing for so long, and it's like those like an Indian in the 80s who came here to get a job. Like usually that's like a good person. Like my middle school computer teacher, Mr. Patel, was awesome and a Republican. He gave me extra points for choosing Ronald Reagan when we had to make like PowerPoints about it. It doesn't matter. My point is like they were sending their best before, and like now it's like when just NGOs are just shipping people from third world countries, you're not getting good
Or
people
H-1B
anymore.
visas are tying people to jobs as maids.
And they can bring their whole family.
But as a maid.
Wow, we have Americans who do maid jobs.
Well, then, you know what? That's another thing. You know, that's actually one of the things that I've parted with the libertarian. I mean, everyone knows I'm not a libertarian anymore. But one of the things that I've parted, especially with the libertarians on, is the immigration issue. And I've actually moved slightly to the economic left on it. Like, I don't know if we need to just devalue American labor by just like allowing anyone who just wants to come here, and then you can take all the crappy jobs, and then we can have like, you know, a larger workforce just so everybody's labor is devalued. Like, I just don't know if we need to do that, you know?
The thing is, if it was needed in a free market, then it would happen, but it wouldn't happen in a free market. That's what the thing I hate about it is that it's
manufactured.
Yeah, it's fake.
If everyone could just travel wherever they wanted at any time, and then there were free markets all over the world, then yeah, it would work, because everybody would go to one place and some people would go to another place, and then those people would go. It would work out. It would balance. But that's not what's happening here. So.
Yep, I agree. So, anything else, Turd?
No, that's it.
Thank you for the call, and
Thanks, Turd.
before that, I gotta say, I don't want it to sound like Free Talk Live is just agreeing with her that we hate Indians. That's ridiculous. I don't hate Indians. I can see why he's frustrated right now and would be
I
saying
can
that.
see that too. I don't personally hate Indians. I don't personally hate any culture that I can think of off the top of my head,
If
except
I just
leftist culture.
got off, if I just got off
Which is a
work-
lot of Eastern philosophy.
What
Leftist culture.
Eastern philosophy?
Yeah.
It's just a perversion of Eastern philosophy, I think.
I would say it'd have to be a perversion too, because a lot of stuff I learn about Buddhism from Ian, it's like at first I'm like, no, I don't like that at all. And then like he explains my misconceptions in a way. Like I think that in a way, the Buddha's teachings are a lot like Jesus's teachings. They just come at the same thing from different angles in a way.
Yeah.
But,
That's kind of what the Pope said
I also-
the other day.
I also
He was
don't
like,
know much about Hinduism.
he said like the Hindus are kind of, he acknowledged that everybody's like on the path to God, right? Like you guys are truth seeking, and that's good. And the Pope like said, that's cool, guys, do your thing.
Well, I guess the Pope, the thing about the Pope saying that creeps me out. So it's like I could say something and then the Pope says the same thing, and it creeps me out more when he says it, because I really think that he and the Catholic Church like want to create this like one world religion, and I don't like that.
No, they're hermetics.
That's something
They're
that
not
is-
true. They're the Catholic Church. I think, have you looked into Hermeticism?
I know everything about that. I've read the Kabbalion. I like a lot of their principles. I think a lot of it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Everything's gendered. I believe that. I believe everything's gendered. Mind over matter. Everything vibrates.
Plants have spirits.
I believe plants have spirits.
I do too.
They can talk to us.
Yeah.
Well, true. They take a lot of the, but then you take it a step further, and I think Hermetics get a little weird.
But it is a very Western thing, you know?
Yeah.
It is not. Hermeticism is Western, and I like that about it. But anyways, the thing about it is I think that a one world religion being forced on us is a no-go. And again, it's another thing that I've contemplated a lot, where I think one day if humanity was allowed to evolve and do really good, we might come to something like a one world religion, but I don't think it'd be like a religion like we think of now. It'd be like what we all believe in, like what keeps us going and is nice about humanity, or like the world and spirituality and stuff like that. I just don't think anything someone like the Pope is going to try to push on us to try to say like, oh, there's hate in the world. Look at Twitter. We need a one world religion. That's going to be bad. It's like exactly what we were just saying.
Absolutely terrible.
With Turd about like, oh, well, immigration usually good, forced immigration that's unnatural, artificial, honestly bad.
Well, and part of that is if you can just annihilate the culture, then you can install your own. So, you know, right, if you muddy the waters, then nothing's clear.
And the thing about muddying the waters is people have muddied the waters with the idea that culture and race are the same thing. Like, somebody can be hating on a culture and not hate on the race. I'm not saying, like, Turd seems to be going a little too far with that. Like, if I had just got off work at Pasha and I, like, spent all this energy on a table of Indians, they didn't tip me, I may be feeling the same way right now, too, so I'm not...
Yeah, I think Turd just wanted to vent a little bit.
Yeah, so... But I gotta say, the hate of a culture, like, genuinely, I could say, like, if I hate any culture the most, it's, like, the type of the type of Islamic Muslims that, like, completely cover their women, and they believe that they can rape people of other cultures, and they believe that they should be able to kill people who aren't in their religion. They need to spread it. I genuinely hate that. I hate it. And that doesn't mean I hate people from, like, Afghanistan. Like, it doesn't mean I hate the race. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In fact, I think Middle Easterners are some of the most beautiful people on the planet. They've created so much good, especially, like, Persians. They should be free from Islam to be able to make the world, like, so much more awesome, because they are awesome, but they're being held down by Islam.
Persia used to be the center of the universe for long thousands of years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Assyrians, all those people. I've met a lot of Islamic people. I like, maybe it's a different interaction with me because I'm a man in their cultures. But I mean, I've met a lot of the men that I kind of like, but they're not bad people. Like, I haven't met a lot of, like, not nice Muslim men. Maybe not the hyper ones that, like, cover their wives, but, like, Afghani men or, like, Middle Eastern men. I've met a lot of those guys. Those guys are really good guys.
I don't know. Whenever I worked at Pasha, also, that was another culture I ran into and was like, wow, I really don't like a lot of this crap. Like
Greek culture?
No. Like, it was run by Syrians.
Oh, okay.
And it was called Pasha, a Mediterranean restaurant, but it had, like, all kinds of food. And, like, my boss was from Syria. He was awful, and he was crazy and misogynist. And then, like, people would come in that were Muslims, and they'd say, like, I don't want a woman for a waitress, give me a male waiter, and they would actually, like, comply. They'd be like, yes, absolutely, and, like, give away their tell the waitress, no, you're not on that table, you're gonna move, and he's gonna go here, blah blah. That is disgusting. Like, seriously, it disgusts me.
That's true. I can see why you dislike that, but I can also see as, like, the libertarian in me says, like, it's their business, they can run it how they see
No,
fit,
they
you know what I mean?
do that, but that doesn't mean I can't say, ew, that's gross. We don't like
for
that.
sure.
And that's, like, so un-American. Beyond un-American.
Yeah, it is a crazy backwards concept.
Like, I'd rather have people that have free women and throw cow poop at each other in celebration than go take showers.
They don't really.
Than people who don't have free women.
And in India's, like, a lot of arranged marriages and, like, forced stuff.
It's not as bad as what I'm describing, like Islam. More Free Talk Live coming up.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp, is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
You can help more people hear the message of liberty by joining Free Talk Live's AMPS program on Patreon for as little as $5 a month. And you'll get access to special perks. Visit amps.freetalklive.com, amps.freetalklive.com.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper with the Week in Review. US strikes on suspected drug boats remained a major focus in Washington this week. The White House confirmed that the US carried out a second strike on a boat in the Caribbean Sea in September as 2 injured people clung to the wreckage. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth authorized the second strike, which critics now say could amount to a war crime. Ever since Tony Waterman was monitoring developments in Washington.
Press Secretary Leavitt said Pete Hegseth authorized the commander of the operation, Admiral Frank Bradley, to carry out the strikes, defending it as a matter of national security.
Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated.
Democrat and Republican lawmakers have vowed to launch investigations into what could be a potential war crime. It's illegal to intentionally kill wounded, sick, or shipwrecked people who are not fighting back. President Trump has said he still has confidence in Hegseth, but wouldn't have ordered a second strike.
The Ukraine peace plan was discussed around the world this week in Moscow, where US envoy Steve Witkoff met Russian President Vladimir Putin, then in Miami, where a Ukrainian delegation met with Witkoff, and in New Delhi, where President Putin met India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The leaders' summit came amid Western pressure on India to reduce its trade with Moscow and use its influence to get Putin to end the war in Ukraine. FSN's Ishan Garg sent this report from New Delhi.
Now, from India's perspective, what it could do potentially to woo the United States on the other side, and that's something the European capitals have also been asking New Delhi as well, is to ask President Vladimir Putin to put an end to the war in Ukraine. European envoys have privately told the Indian government that Prime Minister Modi has President Putin's ear, and therefore he should use this influence to ensure that President Putin comes to the table, signs a peace deal, and puts an end to the Ukraine war.
This week, the FBI said it arrested a man suspected of planting pipe bombs outside the Republican and Democratic Party headquarters in Washington, D.C., following a years-long inquiry. The devices were left on January the 5th, 2021, the day before Donald Trump's supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol. The week ended with a mixture of sport and politics as US President Donald Trump was awarded the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize. It came at the draw to find out which countries will play each other at next summer's Football World Cup. The draw was held in Washington, D.C., with the event next year being hosted by the US, Canada and Mexico. From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN.
Yep, we still do email. Drop your email address in the entry box at freetalklive.com, and you'll be kept in the loop with Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie,
Riley O'Bill,
and Angelo.
And we have lots of things to talk about tonight, and luckily we've had lots of callers to talk to, and it's been really fun to talk to you guys, so let's go straight to the phones. The number, if you'd like to get on, there's still time for you. 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160, and we'd love to hear from you. Tom in New Hampshire, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind, Tom?
Tom, when can I get a show on Free Talk Live? When can I be one of the hosts? Are you that desperate yet?
Whoa, do you live close?
Well, I live in southern New Hampshire, and Saturday nights, I mean, I could take a spin out there and then sit in the studio and do the thing, and then spin back. Saturday nights I got off.
Could you email me, Bonnie@freetalklive.com? I'm going to see Ian tomorrow.
Yeah, because I figure it was the same reason that I got kicked out of the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, and that was because I was too libertarian.
That's one thing I literally can't answer, and I'd have to ask Ian first because I know that he will not let people on by themselves without countering people when they are pro violence against cops. And I see the libertarian, trust me, I personally see the libertarian position of being violent against cops. They are literally, it wouldn't even be a NAP violation in a lot of circumstances. But I just got to say that I know Ian's position on that, so I'd have to talk to him.
One of the things, the chess moves we got to do is put the blood of slain law enforcement goons and slain soldiers, like the 26 November 2025 attack in Washington, D.C., on the hands of people who voted.
I don't know if it's a good idea to blame voters for that.
Oh, he must have hung up at the end of that. I thought that we lost him, but yeah, I don't.
I think you might have accidentally hung up. Maybe.
Okay, if you call back, Tom, we'll let you back on if that was an accident. But I got to say, I disagree because, in my opinion, first of all, libertarians, you can't have it both ways. Either your vote doesn't matter because it's just the Electoral College that makes it, or your vote matters so much that you're like personally responsible for everything that an elected official does. And besides, I don't believe that anyway. If I told Angelo right now, like, to punch Riley, and Angelo did it, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. And there's like a little bit of blame on me, but
I'd punch him back.
99%.
Well, that's like okay. That's like what I was talking about. What the Russians did to the German people on the way back to Berlin from Moscow during World War II. How they burned everything in their wake. In retribution, they held the women and the children responsible for the actions of Adolf Hitler, right? That they dragged them into the streets and executed them for the actions of other men.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
Exactly. It's like that's what the territory you get into when you say that voters are literally responsible for, like, you know, a president starts a war after you voted for him. First of all, it's like, did you ask every voter why they voted for somebody? Like, I literally voted for Trump, and it was for one reason and one reason only, and it was to free Ross Ulbricht. So you can't say that I gave Trump a mandate to do something. Like, even if Trump said, like, I'm going to do a thing and I voted for him, I could be voting for him with the hope that he doesn't do those things. Oh, we have a really special caller in line. I wondered the other day where he has been. Jet. Out somewhere in the West. You're on Free Talk Live. What is on your mind?
But go and find out if you guys have been keeping up with the Candace Owens saga.
I personally have not.
I have. I've watched every episode, dude. I watch it every night on the way home from work. I've watched every episode since this thing happened.
I have not. What did you want us to know about it?
Well, she has put herself hot on the trail of Charlie Kirk's murder, and I didn't know this much about her a while ago, but she is totally like anti-government and anti-establishment, that kind of thing, and she's put herself in such a position that supposedly the people in France have created an assassination plot for her.
Whoa.
So, but what I wanted to say about that was, if you ever want to increase your listenership 100-fold, just throw in some Candace Owens, and it's amazing. So many people across the country and around the world are talking about it.
Yeah, we talked a bit about her when she was covering that Macron's wife is a man, and
that's everything is connected. There's so much crazy stuff going on with Delaware, the French, the DuPont family.
The DuPont family?
There's so much stuff going
know
on.
About them.
So
wait, what does Candace have to do with them? Maybe I should be listening to this.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. This is so much crazy. Everybody is. I have some of my more normie friends who are just saying Candace is a crackpot, but they're watching clips, dude. And I've watched every episode. You know, and you're watching handpicked.
Bridget Macron was a man when I first saw her.
No, since Charlie got shot, everybody was throwing around speculations, and I was watching a whole bunch of people, and then Candace kind of took a lead on things, and this has just turned into a crazy story. Something about Charlie was supposed to meet with a very rich billionaire French American donor named Pierre. The DuPont family, there's connections with her lawyers, planes going in and out of a Delaware airport that's owned by a French company. Like the Egyptian planes I was talking to you about with Gerhardt.
Mm-hmm.
So those are all stopping in Delaware at a French hangar that's licensed to them by the Delaware Transit Authority.
Mm-hmm. Where did the DuPonts come in?
The DuPonts own, I think they're invested in Satis, maybe not. Don't quote me on that. But all of these buildings around a section in, I don't know what the name of the city is. They're all owned by the DuPont family, and they have a bunch of federal agencies inside these office buildings. So there's some church connections. I can't explain it all in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I guess I will be listening now because this is what I've heard about the DuPonts, and the only time I've heard about them is Mark Passio. He does a show called What on Earth is Happening. WhatOnEarthIsHappening.com is the website, and you can start at episode 1. It's amazing. And he has a really good friend that was on very early episodes telling about his life. And also, he still does interviews with him once in a while. His name is, I see his face in my head, but Jay Parker. His name is Jay Parker, and he claims that he is from a cult family, and he was sexually abused by his parents. He was physically abused, like electrocuted and stuff like that, in back rooms of churches.
Do you
by his
know
parents.
about Alexander DuPont?
Wait, no, I gotta get.
Okay.
He's not a DuPont. He's Jay Parker. So,
I get
but
that.
the thing is, his parents were like in a whole group, and he's an older man, by the way. So when JFK's assassination happened, his dad got a phone call, and he was like, "Okay, they let me know that the shooters was our guy." So just stuff like that. Like, he's part of a cult family. He woke up out of it. He had to like try to help himself be less traumatized. He was really like alcoholic for a while, but he ended up doing stuff like EFT and helping himself get better. But he wants to like spread the word about it. He says this is going on. He said the place he's from in Delaware, which happens to be a place that I looked it up to see.
Is it Wilmington?
If Joe Biden ever lived there. I can't remember the town name off the top of my head. If somebody said it, I'd know. But Joe Biden owns a house there, or at least he used to own a house there. He said that only 10% of the people in that town are not part of this cult. And his mom was a witch who says that she's been part of a witch lineage for like over 1,000 years. And she taught some DuPont children. She was like a literal teacher that would go to their house.
So I think his name's Alexander DuPont. I think it's one of the DuPonts. He got caught. His wife found out that he was molesting his kids.
Whoa.
And he ended up getting caught for this. It kind of came out during like the divorce things, and he goes to court for it. They give him a sweetheart deal to get him out of prison, and his sweetheart plea was he had to admit that he did it, and then they give him like a 4th-degree misdemeanor, and he didn't have to serve any time. But the guy who set up that sweetheart plea deal for Alexander DuPont was a Biden.
Whoa. The place is Arden, Delaware. That he says that there are 10% of people there that aren't cult, and that all the cult members just use them as practice on how to talk like normal people to each other.
Delaware's like a huge trend. I guess they were talking about, Candace was bringing up like Wilmington. I think the place is Wilmington, Delaware. It's a huge tranny hotspot too.
Interesting. Really? Weird.
Yeah.
It just seems like such an odd place. It's like, who lives there? What's going on there? It's such a small. And he says that even the Arden, Delaware like origin story is fake. They say like this man, he was an artist and he just wanted to start a community for artists, so he started up this town. It's like, what artist starts up a town? Anyways, did you have anything else for us, Jet, or anything to say about?
Oh yeah. She's bringing in all the corruption and collusion of Israel and the Turning Point people. She's calling it like an inside job. I mean, it's quite the deal. She's going to have some big teleconference with Turning Point on December 19th, 15th, something like that. Then to expose them, or expose what they've been up to. She's even hinted at suggesting that his wife had something to do with his assassination.
She's odd. The first time she came out and made a statement, I said, listen, that's weird. I'm married And if my husband was shot in front of me, I would not be acting that way. And everybody's response to that was to me, everyone grieves differently. But literally, it's not normal. Especially if you're 31 and your 31-year-old father of your kids who was just shot in front of you guys. You don't just start doing your makeup like that and go and I'm going to get away from my kids and go on tour and talk the way she talks. I wouldn't be shocked at all. She's a weirdo.
So I thought I'd just throw out that if you want to increase your listenership 100-fold, because she's the #1 podcast in the world now. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she beat Joe Rogan out.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. And Joe Rogan is going, thank you so much for the call, Jet. And Jet's the one that always reminds us to, when we talk about the government, remind people that they're just people, government people. They're goons.
People with titles. Yep.
People with titles who gave themselves fake extra rights that don't actually exist. So they're gang members, liars, thieves, lunatics, killers, despots, tyrants, thugs, but they're not just the government. The government is a way to make them feel like there's some other entity. They're like this this thing you can't really put your finger on. You know what I mean? But when you call them all those other words, it's a reminder that they're people.
Just men. That's what I like to call them, just men.
603-283-6160 for a reminder. There is still time for you to get in on the conversation with us. But yeah, what do you guys think about what I was telling you about, like the Jay Parker thing? And
no, I think that's crazy. I think it's all 100% real.
I don't know enough about it to make a comment. So.
No, I'm with you. It's I think that ties back into the 13 families, kind of like it's bloodlines, right? The kings didn't just quit being kings. I don't think they ever will.
People just were like, I don't see this as like the way to go forward anymore. Like, oh, just believe your word that God chose you. No, I'm going to do other things. But they had to find new ways to be like, yeah, no, I'm not a king. You elected me, actually. I'm president. Yeah, and it's not the same. Like, there are checks and balances. So,
but not really.
I believe
not really, because they exist outside. Because we own the money. We own the dollar bills everybody else uses, because we're all tied up into this fiat system with the central banks.
And last night we talked about the inevitability of the collapse of the fiat system. So it's coming.
Yeah, but that's by that point they're going to have the panopticon of surveillance, and if you get too mad about it, they'll just send a drone to your house, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys have nothing else to say about those topics, I do have another article.
Well, I just think I haven't agreed to 100%. Maybe I'm skeptical of some of the stuff Candace has said, but I think if you haven't actually sat down and followed it and like actually watched what she said, like every episode so far, and you're just basing it off of things that like you know, a clip. What everybody else is saying on Twitter about her, or like what you hear Tim Pool say about her in his show when he's ranting and raving, like you have to go watch what she's saying. You can't keep doing this he said, she said, oh, I heard such and such. Like, you just go watch it.
Yeah,
sit down and go watch it.
When my sister in 2016, I think it was, first started telling me, not Elspeth, but my other sister, started telling me they're all trannies, all of the celebrities, they're all trannies. I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, seriously, it was actually making me mad. I don't know why this reaction was in me. Like, I was already pretty, like, counterculture in a lot of ways. Like, I believed a lot of things that most people find conspiracy theory. But for some reason, that was like, Julia, that is so dumb. I don't even want to hear you keep talking. That's because it was just like nothing but the idea thrown out. But when she made me start watching videos, at first I was like, oh, watch it because like this is just so fake, and I'm just like humoring her. But once you look at all the evidence in front of you, like you learn about the differences between male and female skulls and facial features and stuff like that.
Yeah, physiognomy.
Physiognomy?
Yeah.
Wait, is that physiognomy? Wait, there's two. I said physiognomy, but there is another one. Oh man.
I'm not sure which one it is.
But yeah, it's a literal, you can learn things. You can look at people and determine things. It's not just like, oh, you could never know what parts someone has just by looking at them. Yes, you can. And the other thing that people don't understand is that if you start testosterone from like childhood, you're pretty dang undetectable. But yet, if you are born a male and you're given estrogen from a young age, it's pretty convincing, but never gets that as good as the opposite. So like there are telltale things like really long skinny arms on a girl that like hang down way past their like knees. Well, maybe not knees, but like way down longer than normal. That is a thing that for some reason that hormones can't stop their feet and their hands from getting really long. Different things about the shape of people's heads, your jaw. There are always going to be like a gradient of different looks of people's jaws, like from like you can be a woman and have a more square jaw, but on average, if you're looking at like every single celebrity, and all of them have more square jaws than the women you see around you in your real life, like that tells you something. You see what I'm saying? It's not just like you can never know. You didn't look at their genitals. Like there's more than just genitals that equal sexual traits.
Yeah.
Same thing. So anyways, I brought all that up specifically not to just talk about that they're all trannies. I don't really know that I believe they all are, but a ton of them. And the reason I'm not saying like, oh, how could they all be? No, I actually think there are some that I look at and I'm like, I don't know if that's tranny. I just don't know. And maybe some of them just aren't part of that sector or that specific cult, or they weren't chosen to be made into a tranny. You know what I mean? But I gotta say that whenever she first started telling me about it, it was like, I'm not gonna believe that out of hand. In fact, I'm annoyed that you would even say it's so ridiculous. But and so somebody might feel that way about Candace's stuff, even if I'm not specifically talking about her tranny episode, like other conspiracies she has. But if you listen to her lay it down, you might be more convinced. But I also am still gonna stay a little skeptical of Candace, because I think a lot of the times there comes a time when they, them, and those, the psychopaths, they're like, we must disclose. And it's, in my opinion, I believe in natural law, and the fact is that if you are doing wrong to people, it can't possibly ever not harm you. And a lot of people have called it karma, like people have called it karma, people have called other things, but they know that if they're doing harm to like the whole world, that's gonna squash them unless they do things like tell you in a way that it feels like you are subtly making a choice. Like with the COVID vaccines, I guess I shouldn't say no one. There might be some like fringe case out there where somebody's held down and got taken or forced a vaccine. But if you got a vaccine because of, I'm saying mostly adults though. If you got a vaccine because you were going to lose your job, you were not forced. You still made a choice. I'm not saying that is right to coerce someone. I'm not saying that there's not
you still made the choice, line. So it's you did it.
And it's like, well, look at my other option. Yeah, it could have been absolute crap. That doesn't mean that when you wake up and if somebody was asking you, do you want to eat poop or or maybe I shouldn't say that on there, or do you want to eat pizza? And you said, obviously pizza. Like, I would still say that you made a choice to eat pizza. Like, even if the other option is horrible, Well,
that's the whole thing. I don't know. It reminds me of there's a speech. It's called The Kingdom of Heaven. I think it has Orlando Bloom. It's a Crusader movie. But the King of Jerusalem gives this little speech to Orlando Bloom, and it was the leper king. It was this young man who had leprosy. He wore a mask. He explained to this guy that your decisions are yours alone. Like, your soul is in your own keeping. You cannot say that men of power told you to do thus.
Like,
so
Hitler
you did.
Didn't just tell the
it's
soldiers.
on you. It's on you.
Or Hitler did just tell soldiers, and then they went and killed people.
Yeah, but that's still your decision, right? Like, your soul is in your own keeping. You make your own decisions, regardless of what other people have told you is going to happen. You still make these decisions.
Or I think it was Nuremberg when they said, listen, we were just doing our jobs. It didn't matter. You did the thing. You killed people. You knew that was wrong. But my main point there was just to say, I think that Candace might be a part of just like a disclosure event. Like, they need to and I'm not saying that like UFOs, just that they need to disclose something like a very obvious tranny that you should be able to know right when you see its face. Like, literally, I was like, oh wow, they've got some gross trannies over in Europe in their politics and in their royalty. Not joking. Like, no, the Netherlands ones, those are freaking insane, disgusting, and bred trannies.
I almost wonder if the whole trans movement is made up by
hermetics, dude.
Well, that too, but I also wonder if there are people legitimately deceived by people advocating for them to be trans because they want to enslave them to Big Pharma.
Yeah, it's like Tumblr, dude. Yeah. That's what happened on Tumblr.
Oh.
It happened to my little sister. Now she grew out of it. You know what I mean? She thought she was a dude and went off the deep end with all of that, put binders on, and messed up her ability to breastfeed her children when she had them.
Oh, wow.
Because she ruined her mammary glands when she was going through puberty. The state tried to chemically castrate her. My grandma had to fight tooth and nail against the state of Oregon because she was technically on like SSI or like the state hospital because we didn't have the money to put her in a facility, so she's on state Medicare. So she's got to fight with the state. She's got to fight the state of Oregon and the facility to not chemically castrate my 13-year-old sister. Has to get a team of psychiatrists from across the West Coast. She's just lucky they were her friends and she knew them already. And she had to go up there on a warpath to keep them from doing these experiments on my little sister. So it is very firsthand, dude. And I think they target autistic people who aren't good with building relationships, and they kind of give them a home.
People who they already took away their dads and other,
strong male role models in their lives.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, it seems like, I mean, we've encountered, at least Bonnie and I have encountered a trans person in our lives, and
oh yeah, I mean, I have too.
I don't know. It just seems like these people have been targeted by someone else in order to be slaves to big pharma and think an agenda is a good thing.
Have you got into the, Bonnie, about, you say, you agree with some of the ideas of the Hermetics, but then there's this idea of transcendence by if everything's being gendered, then you should be both gendered, and that's how you reach enlightenment.
I don't think that every single person who is literally, like, if you listen to like the Hermetic Hour with Poke Runyon, he's just a dude. I don't think that they're all about that. I think that a lot of it is just like philosophy and ways of looking at the world, and I think that it's possible that those thoughts got in the hands of the wrong people, which is like what a lot of mystery schools were trying not to let happen. And some really bad people took it to a weird place where they decided they have to make their children free Martins in the womb and put wrong sex chemicals into them. And so, for some reason, that has something to do with like Baphomet and
Babylonic blood magic.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's something weird going on there, sure, but that doesn't mean, that's like saying like, oh,
yeah, I'm just saying, like, you got to be,
Catholics, they rape children.
Well, yeah,
so
but you look into the Jesuits, and those guys are crazy.
Yeah, but does that mean all Catholics are?
No, but I'm just saying, you can't. I guess They use these things as veils, as like, it's the harmlessness. It's almost like with the Freemasons, like, oh, we're just a fraternity, dude. We're just a bunch of bros sitting around doing nothing until you take that trip to Washington D.C. And get your 33rd degree and move up in the world, right? Because not everybody.
If you can learn truths from a system that teaches it, truth is literally the most important thing on the planet. Truth is literally just aligning yourself with reality. And I think that if there are people out there that have some of that, they're going to try to keep it closed from like people who just want to like, and it's not, maybe some people see this as, oh, you just don't want to share. I think it literally could get lost from the world, and people who know better can take over the world better if they know the truth and you don't. More Free Talk Live, freetalklive.com.
Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 13th through the 16th for the 8th annual Fork Fest at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Fork Fest is a fork of the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which has sold out in recent years. Fork Fest happens the weekend before the Porcupine Freedom Festival. Fork Fest is decentralized, which means that there's no ticket cost and no one is in charge. All you have to do to join the fun is reserve your camping site, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 13th through the 16th. You can find out more at the unofficial website, forkfest.party. You can also connect with other attendees on the Forkfest Telegram and Matrix chat rooms, as well as the Forkfest forum. You can find links to those at forkfest.party. We hope to see you there June 13th through the 16th. Forkfest.party.
Eleutheromania, the insatiable desire for freedom. It's the new 3-song heavy metal